And welcome to Tombs of Scoria. How are we doing today after last week's epic finale of Crownhold?
Good, I think we're going for XP.
No
Koibu.
levels?
That's
No
okay.
levels. Oh no.
Hold on, wait, I just thought of something. Traditionally, the reason why we don't usually bring NPCs with us is because the penalty for doing so is splitting XP between all the mobs. But if we're not gaining any levels anyway...
Bring the
That's
squad,
true.
bring the boys.
Yeah, bring your people. Absolutely.
Oh, no, okay, sorry. I think I suggested this to either Mooten or Nick. I don't think I ever put this in the group chat. I think we should take like 15 minutes to iron out what are the rules for all the spells and some of the weirder interactions, just so we don't have to argue about anything in like epic
That
moments
sounds
or tense moments
great.
going forward. Yeah. So where are we at right now? Remind us, remind the audience, where are we at with Stone Skin exactly? Let's start
Buy
with
the
that
book
one.
now.
Let's start with that, yeah.
That's great. And I'm going to make some notes in our group chat just so that no one will ever forget.
Yeah.
Good.
None of this is also passive aggressive, right? It's just so we know 100%. Because it sucks when we like, let's dig through episodes and find out what we say, just so we know right now. It doesn't matter what's happened in the past, but right now we're solidifying this is how these particular things work, yeah.
So I believe we ended up with Stone Skin rules as written, right?
Yes.
Oh, Koibu, can you also turn your mic up a little too, yeah?
Of course.
I mean, it is funny that through all of the, fuck, Nick remembers this. Do you remember the infinite balance tweaking in StarCraft? Bunker build time plus
Yes,
5
the bunker
seconds.
build time, yeah.
Now we've gotten Stone Skin all the way through, and now we've
Right,
ended
pull
with
back on
rules as written. This is kind of funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Well, if Nick wasn't such a good lawyer for Stone Skin, we would never have had to go through this process. So
We've
I
never
blame...
actually played rules as written, and it is partially my fault. It's also partially your.
But we're not doing rules as written Stone Skin because then Stone Skin lasts forever. We're doing 24 hours, correct?
That's true. Okay, yeah. Rules is written with 24-hour duration. Any
an
attack
important distinction.
automatically knocks off a charge. No need to roll to hit. Critical. You need to roll to hit, so criticals don't matter.
Well, you know, while we're on this, and I do hesitate to intercede or anything here. What about with ranged attacks? The same deal.
Same deal. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
So one swing, one Stone Skin. Magic Missile does damage plus Stone Skin. Are we doing that?
Yes.
Yeah,
All spells.
I have a question about that then. For
Mm-hmm.
ranged attacks, they don't have to hit, right? If someone shoots a
If-
ranged attack at you, that's a Stone Skin charge.
That's the Stone Skin charge. Yeah.
Okay. Do we want to do any penalties for range? Like, if someone's shooting at me from across the fucking, like, the long
We're
range
gonna.
or whatever.
I think I trust Koibu to not be totally fucking stupid with this. If we're approaching a castle from a mile away and somebody starts shooting arrows at you, they're not automatically dinging Stone Skin charges. We'll fight if that happens.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I won't fuck you with some sort of. Well, technically they're a mile away and they're making an attack roll, so.
Yeah, okay.
it's-
I'm just making sure
yeah,
that's...
yeah.
that's
Okay, so we're all good.
No,
Okay, also, we said Stone Skin 24 hours. Nick, for future assignments, is there any reason then we should never be casting Stone Skin before a fight, right? You should be casting it before sleep, right?
Yeah. Well, I usually cast it in the morning.
But I'm saying before you learn spells, basically.
Well, no, because that means having had it the day before and not casting it, right?
What I'm saying is
likes
that,
to
like,
cast
if
it in
we're
the
about to
morning so
go
you can relearn
into a dungeon, the day before you would cast Stone Skins before sleeping, then
Yes.
you'd wake up and you'd have
If
your
we-
full
if
list
we
of
would-
spells. That's what I'm
If we
saying.
were doing nothing else the day before, yeah.
Right. So, like, for this...
If I
par-
could like prepare my spell list,
Yeah.
because I know that the day after we're gonna go, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So like for this encounter, you could have cast Stone Skin on us the night before, and then we would go in or something. Unless we have some other reason to do it, right? And then you have more spells available to you, right? Okay.
But usually we do that using nap. Usually, like I casted all the stone skins, and then Anton napped me.
Sure,
And we
sometimes.
learned lots, and then we went.
Okay, so if Scoria is not Scoria, well, even Scoria, sure. If Scoria is has Stone Skin on, and we go to attack her, and I conjure animals, and I conjure, I don't know, fucking 50 crows, are the crows going to break Stone Skin charges?
Ooh. That's a great question. That's a fantastic question. Do conjure animals resolve as one attack or as 50 attacks? It's a great edge case. Conjure animals.
I can type it in the chat if you need it, but yeah.
That'd be great, yeah. Unfailingly attack the priest's opponents, but resist being used for any other purpose. They do not like it. They become noticeably more difficult to control and may refuse any action break for your turn on the caster, depending on the nature of the creature and the details of the situation. But unfailingly attack your opponents. Excuse me. Well, it sounds to me like Conjure Animals is a great anti-stone skin spell.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Can anyone see any other interpretation?
No, I think it's legit.
No, I think it should break stone skins. It won't hit Scoria.
Just remember that for us now, that means that if we get attacked by a mob of like kobolds or something incredibly stupid, all of our stone skin is gone, right?
Yeah.
I think it's okay. The spell is so strong that there should be some good counters to it. Like I think it's reasonable that like the other spell I like, Mirror Image, like AOE breaks it, right? So
I think it's fine.
I think that's especially great because then it leaves you. It makes Stone Skin more optimal to wait until you're only facing one scary thing to cast it.
Potentially, yeah.
And if you charge into, here's a day-long battle, you'll probably lose all your Stone Skins really quickly at a inoptimal time.
That's true. Yeah.
Okay, I'm on board.
Okay.
What are the spells?
So is that everything we have for Stone Skin then? AOE spells like fireballs, do those break a Stone Skin charge or anything like that?
Yes, they do.
They break one charge and you take all the damage.
Okay, one charge and all the damage. Okay. Good for Stone Skin?
Yep.
Okay, second question is going to be followers. Genuinely, and it doesn't have to be rulebook, just for your feelings. How do you feel about that, Koibu?
I don't know what you mean.
Like, if we each wanted to start bringing, like, our highest level, like, guards, captain, follower with us, is that something?
100%. We can absolutely do it. There's a little bit of complication in that it will end up slowing down combat if you control, like, 10 people and there's, like... mass combat gets very sloggy and not very much fun.
Sure.
Just by the mechanics of the game, but I have no problem with you bringing as many assistants as you want with you. It makes perfect sense to bring all of your people for some of these battles.
Okay, the only reason I'm asking is because at this point we've got like so much magical gear, it starts to feel, or at least from my perspective, I don't speak for everybody, but it starts to feel to me a little unsatisfying to be like, oh, we leave these gear pieces with like all of our guards, captains, because we don't really see like any of the benefit of it. Whereas like if I have another guy in combat, like a +3 ring of protection, a +4 sword, a plus whatever, it's like, oh, this guy can actually like be an assistant. Or even like people with like the bracers of archery and then like a bow, like just spamming arrows behind me. But maybe that's for you too as well. Do you guys feel like, is that something we want to incorporate or do we just keep rolling 3 of us? I think thematically,
I think we should bring people. I think we should bring people, yeah.
I think it depends what we're doing. I mean, don't forget, there's a lot of stuff going on in the background that having higher level, powerful people doing our bidding is kind of like doing work in the background that we're not seeing. Like
hopefully, I hope so, yeah. I just don't know how satisfying it feels sometimes, yeah.
The next big thing is Scoria, so I think we're going to have to figure out how we want to do the dungeon crawl. So,
yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we're all done on Stone Skin. We're done on followers. Grappling. What is grappling? How do we feel about this? Because one of the things that's arguably going to come up again is going to be the dragon pinning stuff. Theoretically, could be you fight a big monster, can pin you on the ground. Earlier, we spoke about having oil of slipperiness that counts as essentially like a get out of free card against like those types of grapples. Are we still comfortable with that ruling, or is that going to change? Or
Oil of Slipperiness does make you impossible to grapple. I think it says... let's read the book, actually. Let's not...
Yeah. And Anton can make that, right? So.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I can even make more.
Yeah.
Have you already made some in the past?
I have.
I think I have some.
I made a bunch and I lost most of them in my bag of holding.
Nice.
Based.
I think, Tyrael, can you check your sheet? Do you have one?
Applied externally. Makes it impossible for the individual to be grabbed, grasped, or hugged by any opponent, or constricted by snakes or tentacles. Note that a roper could still inflict weakness, but the monster's tentacles could not entwine the opponent coated with an oil of slipperiness.
I have one, yes.
Magical webs, regular webs will not have an effect. Ropes, manacles, and chains can be slipped free. Now that's an interesting one.
all chains, all handcuffs, all.
Throw a little of this up the butt, pull it out.
Magical
What?
ropes are not like, and like are not effective against the soil.
Do we have any spare oil of slipperiness on the?
I have.
Imperial has one.
I've got one on me.
Is there any on the party sheet? I haven't got any, so I'm wondering if we only made 2.
It's all gone.
Okay.
I had 8.
They can't grapple me anyway.
So this seems like you can't be grabbed or hugged, but what about a situation where a dragon steps on you, pinning you to the ground with its foot?
Let's talk about
Like,
that.
You can get slipped.
if you are infinitely slippery, does that mean that you just like slide your hands and you just like squeeze out from underneath the dragon? Is that a free thing to not be squeezed, or is it the dragon tries to step on you and you like get shot out because of the pressures involved with the frictionless environment?
I would like to appeal to. Have you ever seen a little indie show called The Magic School Bus?
Not in like 10 million years.
Remember the baseball episode?
No.
I could be wrong, but I think without friction, I don't know if you are ever truly making contact with something. So if somebody tries to squish you and you are frictionless, I don't think they squish you. I think you just go shooting out. I don't think it can. Now, obviously,
right.
we can
Because the pressure would have to be completely even across the board.
100%, yeah.
That's it.
Right.
Yeah, it would have to be perfectly even for you not to go shooting out.
Okay, so if you're covered with an oil of slipperiness and a giant steps on you or a dragon steps on you, it will still deal its damage, but you will automatically escape the grip because you'll just be like squeezed out.
Well, you should almost make them roll like a d8 to see which direction they go flying, and then roll like how far they fly.
That sounds like fun.
Oh, that sounds fine. Yeah.
Okay, what about you can't be grappled, but if someone like runs a spear all the way through your body, you would still be attached to the spear.
I don't think we've ever played.
Your inside isn't slippy, right?
Well, also, I don't think we've ever played impalement rules. I don't even know if there's any like guide. For
Yeah,
that,
we've
so.
never. Yeah. But I'm imagining. I'm just trying to think of edge cases. If for some reason there was something running all the way through your body, you wouldn't be able to slip out of it because you're bounded by it, right? If you're put into a cage with bars that are too close to slide through, you couldn't escape the cage. But if someone put handcuffs on you, we're just going to assume that unless the manacles are somehow perfectly crafted to your body, which I don't think is even possible in this era, you could slip your hands out of handcuffs. You could get out of ropes.
Certain
But you couldn't
spells, like
squeeze through
bands
bars this
Bands
tight.
of Cerulean would probably like try to tighten on you and then go flying off. Right?
Seems fine. Yeah.
Because it's like 3 large circles that then enclose around the individual.
It depends on if the band is like magical or not, right? So when I asked about like that dust of appearance, it sounds like the dust of appearance isn't like a physical dust that physically makes you visible. It's like a magical thing that eliminates your ability to go invisible. So if there are bands that are like, the point is to hold you, it's not going to matter if you're like slippery or not. They're going to hold you because it's magic, not physical.
Maybe.
Well,
I mean, I feel like whole
oil of
person would definitely still work.
Yeah, because hold person doesn't have anything to do with friction or like gripping. It's just a psychological, physical spell holding you. Magical ropes and likewise are not effective against this oil. So if a rope cannot magically bind you, I think bands of Cerulean would also escape. You would also escape bands of Cerulean.
Okay.
Let me be able to check the spell. Any creature less than size G can be ensnared. Yeah. Spell causes a number of shimmering metal bands to materialize out of the air, encircling and capturing the target of the caster's choice. You get a saving throw. Okay. I think oil of slipperiness would probably... I don't know about bands of Cerulean.
I think that's edge case enough that I'm okay arguing if that one comes up, depending on how we're feeling.
Read.
Maybe we'll give you a +4 to your save against bands of Cerulean.
Gotcha. Another thing that I feel like we need to solidify is action economy. Things like item interactions feel very loosey-goosey and fluidy. Yeah, I think we need to iron out or hammer down some of these.
Yeah, let me just make some notes on the oil of slipperiness stuff.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Yeah, we were talking about this before the stream started. Some items take an action to use, and some items seem to be at will. But there are inherent problems with that. Like, let's say you're in melee combat with someone, and someone's about to swing a sword and hit you. I don't think you could interrupt their attack with your Ring of Invisibility and become invisible, imposing a -4 to hit. I think...
Why not so I'm curious, why not for that, but you could for improved blink?
That's a good question. I was going to say that combat rounds aren't they resolve damage over a period of time. It's not just someone's making one attack against you.
Yeah.
But improved blink very clearly states that you can interrupt other people's attacks. And that's the function of improved blink. But being able to interrupt incoming attacks with item abilities is an interesting concept.
Does it impose a problem with any other? Like, for instance, in combat, would you be able to polymorph in anticipation of an attack with a ring? Would that be okay or not?
Polymorph takes a round, so not in that case.
Does it?
But
Okay.
It does come up in this persistent spell, which basically means I can make any spell turn on and off at will. So
we will probably want to iron out that too, because it feels like you had a lot of questions relating to persistence last time. Yeah.
Yeah, like how that's going to work, I think is important for me to understand at least, because it makes some spells much stronger than others. You know, depending.
Others.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
So which one of these would we like to
I've
start
been watching a lot
with?
of Game of Thrones clips recently. Every time you talk, you remind me of that fucking Rob Stark. Brother.
Nice.
Other. Sorry, okay. What did you say, Kobe? Sorry.
Which one of these do we want to start with?
Like that.
Well, the Ring of Invisibility.
Well, they're the same.
The blink. Yeah, the blink seems to call out specifically that you can dodge attacks, right?
Right. So with your dagger, you can blink once per round. Once it is activated, you can blink. Ooh, it will work for. Is it 6 rounds?
No, it didn't say that.
What works for 6 rounds?
You just said every round you can blink. You can choose the timing of your blink, but your attack roll and your own initiative is totally separate to that. That's how you were playing before, and I think that makes sense. So you could say, I just want to blink as soon as I'm attacked. Or you could say,
Yeah,
on
I was
my turn, I
counting
want
your.
to blink directly behind the person.
I was counting your blinks because you picked up a dagger without knowing its full abilities, and I was just giving you the knowledge that you had in the moment. But I have some notes because improved blink has a duration, and the dagger allows blinking. But I think there is I want to double check my notes on the duration. Ethan.
Think of any other.
Blink on where the activation of this power is instantaneous and can be used in conjunction with an attack, jump, or fall. Note that while blink does change the location of the character, it does not change momentum. The spell lasts for 6 rounds and needs 1 hour to be recharged.
Okay, that's still pretty good though.
Right. So when you have your dagger and you activate it for the first time to blink, you will then blink for the next 6 rounds, or can blink for the next 6 rounds, and then it needs an hour before it can be used again. And it is 1 blink per round. You do not need to blink, but you can. And you can time it at will to avoid attacks, to avoid spells, to avoid anything that you can see coming. Like if you're being attacked from behind, you might not see it coming and might not be able to blink away from it. Or if you're attacked from invisibility, you wouldn't be able to blink away from it.
If you have to see the attack coming?
Well, you have to know. You're choosing when to blink, right? So if there's an invisible monster fighting you, you can't say, I dodge its next attack. with my blink because you wouldn't see its attack until it collided with you.
But you could blink at the very beginning of the round, and the monster, if it was attacking you, would lose its first attack.
Right.
How do we feel then about things like if something is attacking from the back? Or what about projectiles?
The specifics are going to come down to specifics sometimes, but I think generally speaking, if something is coming from in front of you, you can see it to blink it. And if something's coming from behind you, you can't see it to blink it. It's sort of the general route.
I don't know about that because, the rules are that you're aware of the things around you. Like, you might be looking one way, but the guy, you don't necessarily get like a surprise bonus on attacking someone if they're behind you. Just because they're out of sight doesn't mean that you've not looked around in your 1 minute around and sort of see them, know what they're doing. I think you should only not be able to blink it if it's like from invisibility or it is a surprise.
Well,
Sure, but if they're
when they
behind
attack you
you-
from... Go ahead.
I was gonna say, sure, but if they're behind you, you can still say, like, I want to blink at the beginning of my round. If you're not looking at them, I don't think that you should just be able to say, I blink their attack behind. Because you're not going to see when their attack is to blink it.
Right, they get a +2 to hit you because you can't see them very well. And a +2 to hit is half of the bonus of being fully invisible. So clearly, someone behind you is not as strong as being completely unseen.
Okay.
But like, if there's someone in front of you that you're fighting, and there's someone behind you that you're fighting, I don't think you could blink the attack behind.
Then why shouldn't a rogue get a back attack on someone from behind, even if they already know that they're...
Yeah, that's the back attack was the interesting thing.
Well, I think for a rogue, how do we say this? There's a difference between I can't tell exactly when that person's about to strike me, and I have my guard down enough that I'm not worried about defending things from behind. Like, a rogue, I think to get a backstab, a rogue has to get pretty close to you. It's not just like I'm fencing with my sword at a 6-foot distance from your body. I think when a rogue is doing backstab, it's like a dagger, like right up underneath your ribs or right underneath your armpit. And I think there's a proximity to that you lose.
So it's because you can't get the exact timing of the blink. It's like you might know the guy's going to attack you, but you have to know the instant he's going to attack you if you're trying to waste.
This is an edge case.
Yeah.
But if someone is attacking you from behind, since you only get a +2, I agree with you that you do still think that they're there, and and you're aware of it. That's why you're not getting a +4. Can we get a perception check if they do want to blink it to see if they can blink at the right time? Failure on a perception check means that they get hit, they still blink anyways. A pass means they blink and dodge the attack. Seems like the best of all the worlds.
But it does.
It does, but
make
we're
sense.
talking about an edge case of an edge case right now, anyways.
Yeah, because as you said earlier, you can just blink at the beginning of the round and not worry about it.
So this is like if for some reason you're afraid of the guy behind you.
Yeah. And you didn't want to blink earlier because you were trying to cast your spell super quickly.
You want to cast a spell or hit the guy in front of you.
Right. Yeah, I can do that.
Seems fine.
Okay. All right. I think I'm gonna look.
But I
at my
will want
spells.
to. Sorry, one more thing on Blink Dagger is that will apply to melee attacks, but if someone's got a missile attack from behind you, I don't think the perception check would come into play.
That's fair.
Or unless they're like right directly behind you, but if they're 100 feet, I think you probably wouldn't see that coming at all.
What'd you say, Nick?
How do you feel about?
I think that's okay.
No, I'm just gonna say I'm gonna look through my spell list just to see if there's anything else. That we might
Oh, well,
want there.
so when I was referring before to the action economy stuff, what I'm actually more specifically referring to is it seems like there's always arguments around what actions can I do in a round or how much can I do. So for instance, we were still having questions coming up of like, if Nick gets a spell canceled, Nick is like, do I get any action or can I do anything? Or, can I drop a dagger, stab somebody? Like, is there like a formal version of like how item interactions work?
Let's see what we can find here.
And we're saying that at-will item interactions, we can do it once per round, but they don't count for anything. That an at-will thing is a free...
For the most
Free
part, I
thing,
think there are probably some areas in there that we might need to Because how many at-will actions could you do
Yeah, I
in a
understand.
round and still be effective?
We could
right?
literally just say, I'm okay with just saying you get 1 free at will per round. There's like an at will
No,
action
I think
set.
we were saying 2.
What's the second one?
Well,
Maybe it
one would be
depends
like
on
you blinking with the
intelligence.
dagger, and the second one could be like you using your ring. Those are 2 very easy at will things to use, and probably would feel a little weird if you can't do both like in a round.
At that point, I feel like would it really be hard if you're going to activate the ring and blink? Why not my Cloak of the Cheetah too? I think that's what Quiver's getting at. Like at some point, like could you at will
But I
like
think
5
we did
things?
2 last time. I think you've done the Cloak of the Cheetah and the ring in the same round. For some reason, I think we did 2. But yeah, I'm cool with whatever number we agree on.
So most activatable items take a full action to use. If you have like a ring of telekinesis, it is a full action to use your ring of telekinesis. If you want to drink a potion, it's a full action to drink a potion. We have talked about some items that are instantaneous, like your ring of invisibility can, to use a Magic the Gathering phrase, can be used as an interrupt, sort of. Or an instant at least. Like you can do it on your turn after doing another thing. And that seems fine.
As
Are there
for-
any other things aside from Blink Dagger and Ring of Invisibility that we've talked about
Well, like-
being instant?
Assistance.
Instant no.
Well, Boots of Spring and Striding, you can jump at will, but that's part of your normal movement. You can do that once per round.
So it was like
Assistance
running though
spell,
for like.
there's one.
I was gonna say Cloak of the Cheetah. Running is like a thing you do at will. You just run.
Right, activating your Cloak of the Cheetah is an instant ability. We should just write down. I'm gonna make a list of instant abilities, and we'll see which ones we can do.
Nick, what does it mean when it says when used in slashing manner, strength score does not influence the attack? Isn't that like a bad thing?
For what?
Yeah.
Like, if you're gonna use the dagger slashing wise, which will help sever armor, you don't get your strength bonus to hit or damage because it doesn't apply.
That's really weird.
Yeah. Because the strength bonus is I'm able to overcome your armor by overpowering you physically, and this dagger ignores armor, so you wouldn't get your strength bonus to hit with it.
But if you're slashing, it would just completely like devour that armor.
Yeah, I mean, like if you slash someone across the chest and they're wearing plate mail, it would cut the plate mail across the chest and make a hole through it. And so it would completely just destroy that section. We'll have to talk about like armor damage, and if you wanted to like make a square in someone's armor with your dagger to make the plate fall off, could you do that? And there's an interesting conversation to be had there. But let's focus on instant abilities. So Ring of Invisibility, Cloak of the Cheetah. What else do we have? Was there anything else that you...
The dagger is a instant ability, right?
Blink on the dagger, yeah. Just anything that's cast with persistence.
Yeah, let's read Persistence again.
I've got a solution to this. I don't know if you think this is a good idea, but what if it's? I was thinking it could be tied to intelligence, and maybe just the number of languages. So most people get 2. If you're a bit smarter, you get 3 a turn. You know, genius people might get 6 or 7. They never use all them, but
Why would we link
just the
item
ability
interactions
to like.
and intelligence?
Well, how many at-will items you can use at once. You know, maybe it's like something to do with how you have to activate it in your brain to make the item work. Just a way to make it,
To gamify it?
well, rather than just being 2 or 3, which is arbitrary. You know.
Let me read. It's an interesting idea. I'll chew on it while we read Persistence. So any spell that augments the wizard's natural abilities can be made persistent with this. You can use them. No, you cast this, then you cast that. The item can turn on or off the girded spell as often as he likes over the course of the duration of the persistence. The duration of the girded spell also only runs while the spell is active. So a 15th level wizard who makes a fly persistent will be able to use 1d6 plus 15 turns of flight over the next 15 days. So I would say that persistence has a minimum duration, just for sanity's sake, of 1 round. So like, let's say you want to have a fly spell, you wouldn't be able to turn it on for 5 seconds just to like fly up to this thing and then turn it off immediately. I think we have to count out like 1 round at a time, just because everything
okay,
is counted
fair
in
enough.
rounds.
Otherwise, how do you handle the duration anyway?
Yeah, I think it would just get ridiculous to track.
Okay, yeah, I'm fine with that.
So persistence is once per round. But
Can I activate?
you...
Wait, hang on. Yeah, what if I lose initiative? Say I've got stone skin on persistence, and I lose initiative. Can I still activate it at the start of the round before anyone gets a chance to attack me?
I think the whole point of going in rounds is so that you make your actions on your turns. So, how do we feel about instant abilities outside of your normal action economy?
Well, the blink would happen outside of your normal action economy, right?
It does. But could you know, could Tyrael see someone charging? Like Tyrael, there's a battle. It's a hallway. It's just Tyrael and some monster at the end of the hallway. We roll for initiative. Tyrael's going to attack the monster. Monster wins initiative and is charging Tyrael. Can he use his ring of invisibility so the monster will miss its attack, or have a -4 on its attack, and he can then, get a attack at +4?
All right, you can only do it on your turn. That's fair enough.
Yeah, because I feel like the initiative in that situation, you're both trying to fight each other. The monster happens to resolve its attack first, but that doesn't mean that Tyrael's standing there looking at this thing. I think you use your abilities on your turn.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
With the exception of Blink, because that is called out very specifically.
Yeah, it's the purpose of the spell. I think that's fair enough. All right.
Okay, but could he use a Ring of Invisibility, a Cloak of Cheetah, and a Blink Dagger all in the same round on his turn?
Well, depends what his intelligence is.
Does anyone else want to weigh in on this?
I feel like for at-will items, I feel like, you should probably just be able to use most of them.
Stack them all.
If we're saying that a round is like 1 minute, a minute is a decently long time now.
Do you know how, like, this is just going to be, like, probably the only time in Koibu's fucking universe
where this happens.
That anyone's going to have, like,
you get, like 3 or 4 at-will items, yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah,
it
it's never
seems
happening
okay.
again.
Okay. Other questions related to action economy type stuff. So before, we said that we can drop a weapon, draw a weapon. Now it sounds like we're being a little bit more complicated about, well, what exactly kind of bag of holding do you have? I don't remember what kind of bag of holding. I have a 1,000-pound one. I thought I imagined it as a sort of like, I imagined it as a sort of backpack, but I don't know if we've ever like talked about these much, because I don't know if the type of bag of holding has ever been influential in terms of how we could actually interact with it. Because now it sounds like a backpack bag of holding is in a way inferior to like a satchel bag of holding or something. How do we? What is the ruling on this? How do we feel about this?
Right. So when weapons are at your side, like equipped on your person, they are easy to access. But when weapons are in a bag, I think they're generally difficult to access. Any bag that is opened in such a way that you could access your weapons from it in the middle of combat would probably spill its contents on the first or second round of combat, certainly as soon as you got like hit or pushed around. So I think there's a great example in the player's handbook of a person, of like how initiative works with a person trying to get a potion out of a bag and drink the potion, and why it takes a full round to do.
Yeah, because you're like dodging and moving around and somebody swipes at you and you have to back up and grab the potion, but like you're doing this in the middle of combat without getting hit at the same time. You're trying not to spill it. You're trying to maintain your balance and everything, yeah.
Right. So I think if you have an item that's stowed, that's not like equipped on your outer person, it will essentially be a round to grab it out of the bag.
Yeah.
You gotta...
That's fair. I just want to make sure. So also now, how many swords can one have equipped at their side at any given point in time?
I think you can carry a single long sword and a single short sword. How do I want to say? Because it's the weapon length that is really going to be the determining factor here. If you've got like 2 long-ass swords on your sides, they're going to bang around and get in the way. A person can navigate with 1 weapon on their side pretty easily. And we've seen historically cultures use a long weapon and a short weapon on their side at the same time fairly well.
Yeah, what about samurais with their 2 swords?
Yeah. Yeah. So I think a long sword, a short sword, and a dagger could all be equipped because you can put your dagger on either side of your body, but you need to put your swords on your opposite side. And I don't think you could reliably equip swords on both sides of your body, even if you're ambidextrous, without having them like interfere with your movement and combat. So
Gotcha.
one long, one short, one dagger,
Okay, we don't really use short swords here, right?
or two daggers even, I think.
Gotcha. Okay.
I'm not really worried about the number of daggers you can carry at your side. You could probably stack a bunch of them.
You should be, but okay. Any other questions related to? Oh, climbing and jumping in combat.
I have another
yeah.
thing about the bag of holding stuff.
Oh, go bag of holding stuff. Go.
We should get to bring the mithril plate set armor because we can fit people in our bag of holdings. There's no way that we can't fit armor without a person inside of our bag of holdings.
If you can put a
Person in a bag of holding, shouldn't you be able to put a plate of armor that a person wears in a bag of holding?
that seems fairly reasonable. Did we say that you couldn't put the plate mail in the bag
Yeah.
of holding before you took off?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I think if you cut those straps and shove it in, that would be fine. You can then
Was
get new straps made.
Was it magical or no?
No, it wasn't. It was just
Perfect. Mithril
Mithril
plate.
plate.
Thank you.
yeah. Let's see.
We're still okay with the bag of holding people rules. That's a.
I think the nerf on the
it's
bag
not
of
bad.
holding people rules should be that the bag of holding has absolutely no air and you can only stand there as long as you can hold your breath. But I think you can still put people in the bag of holding. But we've been playing. I'm happy to leave them as is because we've been doing it the whole campaign.
Okay, sure.
It's fine.
Okay.
But I think the right way to do that is
I agree with you.
yeah.
Gotcha.
We fucked up.
That's okay. Because it benefits us. Let's see. So item interactions. When Nick is going to cast a spell and then he loses it, he just gets nothing. He gets to move because I think we fought about this a couple times.
Let me just make my notes on drawing weapons.
Okay.
Neil said a half action last time, but no attacks or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I want to have that 100% figured out.
But I think a half action makes sense.
Right back 1 minute. You guys can sort this out.
Be careful, babe.
You can carry a long sword and short sword at a time, 2 daggers on a side. Taking something out of a bag that is closed is a full round action. Leaving bags open while in combat is highly likely to spill, especially if hit, knocked down, have to make a save, etc. Okay. Sorry. What else what were we about to talk about?
Movement. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah,
Yeah,
spells.
spell interruptions.
Yeah, go for that.
What can you actually do if your spell gets interrupted? I think last time you said a half action. You wouldn't let me make an attack. So
Yeah,
half actions
because-
without attacks.
Let's see what you can do in one round. Make an attack. Some examples of an action a character can accomplish include the following: make an attack rolls up to the maximum number allowed for a character class at a given level. Cast one spell if the time is 1 round or less. Drink a potion, light a torch, use a magic item. Move to the movement limit of your movement rate. Attempt to open a stuck or secret door. Bind wounds. Search a body. Hammer a spike. Recover a dropped weapon. Recovering a dropped weapon is listed as a full round action here. But we'll circle around back to that. You can take actions that take a negligible amount of time, things the character does without affecting his ability to perform a more important task. Examples include shouting brief warnings or demands for surrender, but not conversations where a reply is expected. Changing weapons by dropping one to the ground and drawing another one. Dropping excess equipment such as backpacks, lanterns, or torches. Those all seem, except for the recovering a dropped weapon, I don't think we have any arguments about that. Initiative, resolution, spellcasting, and initiative. When a spell requires more than one round, that's not what we're worried about. Spells that require more than one round to cast involve blah blah blah. If a spellcasting character is disrupted during this time, the spell is lost. If all goes well, it takes effect. No. Where is the notes on spell interruption? Okay, here we go. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Once the casting has begun, a character must stand still. Casting cannot be accomplished while riding a roughly moving beast or vehicle unless special efforts are made to stabilize and protect the caster. Thus, a spell cannot be cast from the back of a galloping horse under any conditions, nor can a wizard or priest cast a spell on the deck of a ship during a storm. However, if the caster were below decks, protected from the wind and surging waves, he could cast a spell. While it is not normally possible to cast a spell from a moving chariot, a character who is steadied and supported by others could do so. Your DM will make a ruling. During the round in which a spell is cast, the character cannot move to dodge attacks. Therefore, no AC benefit from dexterity is gained by spellcasters while casting spells. Furthermore, if the spellcaster is struck by a weapon or fails to make a saving throw, any saving throw, before the spell is cast, the character's concentration is disrupted. The spell is lost in a fizzle of useless energy, is wiped clean from the memory of the spellcaster until it can be rememorized. Spellcasters are well advised to stay away from the front of battle, at least if they want to be able to cast any spells.
It doesn't say what happens to their turn, though, does it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see why you shouldn't be able to just re-roll your initiative from that point. And if you got hit on initiative 6, you just have to roll initiative for whatever your next action is plus 6.
Well, okay, so if you were going to cast at initiative 6, but your spell gets interrupted, you change your initiative and you can make a melee attack that round. Okay, what if Tyrael rolls in for combat with his weapon at initiative 6 and then decides that he wants to change to a different weapon and then re-rolls initiative and after successfully making his first attack with his first weapon and now gets his full complement of attacks with his other weapon after re-rolling initiative?
You've already made one attack then. Well, you can't
but
do
like,
that. I do appreciate there's some... So I think then do we just say you just lose the whole turn, or you can just make a half move action or something like that?
I think you lose your action, and then you can make your movement. And the difference between actions and movement are listed here. Somewhere. Movement in combat. Since the round is roughly a minute, it should be easy for a character to move just about anywhere he wants during the course of a round. After all, Olympic-class sprinters can cover vast grounds in a minute.
That's me.
However, blah, 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 blah. He's trying to maneuver through a battle without getting killed. He's keeping his eyes open for trouble, avoiding surprise, watching his back, watching the backs of his partners, and looking for a good opening while simultaneously planning his next move, sometimes through a haze of pain. He may be carrying a load of equipment that slows him down significantly. Because of all these things, the distance a character can move is significantly less than players generally think. In a combat round, a being can move up to 10 times its movement rating in feet. Thus, if you have a movement rating of 9, you can move 90 feet in a round. Movement in melee... Basic move is to get closer for combat. This is neither a blind rush nor a casual stroll. Instead, the character approaches quickly but with caution. When closing for combat, a character can move up to half his allowed distance and still make a melee attack. So you can take a half move and make an attack.
Which we always do, right?
Yeah, I think we have been allowing fighters to do a full move and make an attack.
Well, because it's the charge.
Right. A character can also charge a foe. A charge increases the character's movement by 50% and enables the character to make an attack at the end of the movement, getting a +2 to his attack roll, mainly for momentum. However, charging gives the opponent several advantages. First, they gain the person who you are charging gains a bonus of 2 to their initiative rolls. Secondly, charging characters gain no dex bonuses to armor class and suffer an AC penalty of 1. If the defender is using a spear or polearm and sets it against a charge, he inflicts double damage on a successful hit. Okay.
lose the action, make a move. Make a half move. I think that's fine. Just want to
Yeah.
be clear, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You lose your action, but you can make a half move. Okay. Punching, wrestling, overbearing. All right. What else did we have?
Okay, so my next thing was moving, like climbing and jumping. So
Oh, these are hard ones. Yeah.
one of those jumps was wild. I don't know if you should ever be able to like jump and attack. I don't know how we feel about that.
Jump and attack. What, as in jump over it?
Like, there was a guy that jumped. Remember when you were flying in the ceiling and a guy jumped like 15 feet to swing a
yeah.
sword and attack at you?
He got a -2 though.
-2. Sorry.
Yeah, there was an interesting moment there. I think he had to clear a 5-foot gap to make an attack at Nick, who was a little bit above his height, like 2 feet above his height. Not like Nick's feet were 2 feet above the man's head, but Nick's feet were 2 feet above the man's feet, and there was a 5-foot jump involved.
No, it was more than that. I was flat against the roof. I was 18 foot flat against the roof, and he was on a 10-foot platform.
Okay, so you were
there's
2
probably
feet
2
above
feet
his
between.
head.
Yeah, above his head. Yeah.
Yeah, and he had a 3-foot steel blade.
Yeah. So in theory, I mean,
That seems
The question,
Sort
though,
of
isn't
fair.
like, could he like touch it and win a carnival prize? It was like, could you make a successful attack at a defending
Yeah.
opponent from that extreme of a disadvantage? And it seems like we're reticent to ever give a bigger minus or plus than 4. I think I'd be okay with an attack like that, but that's got to be like at a fucking -6 or -8. That's got to be a huge negative, in my opinion, because that's a wildly crazy attack.
Yeah. I think that situation's sort of fine because Nick was lying flat down, which exposed him in a weird way. But if we had the same situation and someone was and Nick was in a standing
yeah,
position,
and if he was standing and defending, yeah.
yeah, that seems a way different than you're lying flat against the ceiling. So I'm comfortable with that former situation, but as a matter of principle, second edition doesn't really do a very good job of governing jumping distances. The only area where they ever discuss how far you can jump is if you have a jumping proficiency, then you can jump this range. And there's never discussion anywhere about how far one can jump without a jumping proficiency, which is deeply frustrating.
If it comes up again, we can talk about it. I don't know. We need to.
Well,
Okay, that's
Because the
mean-
situation of making jumping attacks, it's going to depend on the jump. It's going to depend on who they're attacking. You know what I mean? It's going to depend on what weapon they have, how tall they are. Do they have a run up? I mean,
what did you have any other more questions on this Tyrael?
my other question would be climbing walls.
Yeah.
we had
Oh,
we had championship climbers with shields. How much do we care about this stuff?
oh, that
Missed their
that
first
5-foot
attack.
climb.
Climb 5 feet, get the rest of their.
That seems totally fine by me. I'm actually very surprised anyone had any complaints about that ruling.
Really?
Yeah, that seemed super. Well, for what were they, like 9th level, 8th level, 10th level warriors
They just,
with
but they
potions
just
of
forgot,
super
like, Anton
heroism?
existed.
What do you mean?
They just like didn't give a fuck. They didn't even go look for him. They just immediately were like,
Oh wait, I'm talking about
so, like,
something way
Davix-
different. I'm not thinking about that. I'm
you
thinking
talking
about just the idea of them being able to make that climb in general without like either rolling for it or expending a half action or something, because it seemed to be a pretty dramatic thing. Yeah.
Let's see. A climbing check must be made anytime a character tries to climb a height of 10 feet or more. This check is made before the character ascends the first 10 feet of the climb. If the check is passed, the character can continue climbing. If the check is failed, the character is unable to find a route and cannot even attempt the climb. No further attempts can be made by that character until a change occurs. Either a significant change in location, half a mile along the face of a cliff, or an improvement to the character's chance of success. On particularly long climbs, those greater than 100 feet or requiring more than 10 minutes, the DM may require additional checks. Climbing rates, climbing surfaces. So that particular example about people climbing up a 5-foot spot. I think you have characters with 18 strength who can just sort of press themselves up and climb up that area very quickly, and they did lose an attack.
Did they?
Not from climbing. They didn't. They lost an attack because Anton blinked out of existence.
Oh, okay. Anton blinked out of existence, so they lost their attacks.
One attack.
If they were to spend half their movement ascending those 5 feet, they would still have had plenty of movement to get wherever they needed to go. They've got 12 movement, a half movement. You can do a half move and attack in the same round, so that gives them 45 feet of movement. And so pressing themselves up that 5-foot area and then walking 5 or 10 feet seemed pretty straightforward. But climbing is in general a difficult thing.
I'm
If you
okay
were
with this, by the
standing-
way. I just, as long as then in the future we need to have that flexibility to maneuver, such that if we need to like hop up a wall or anything like that, we can do that with no penalty or something. Just
Yes, I do want to just introduce one concept here. They were able to do that because the squares into which they were climbing were generally undefended. We did see Nick get an attack of opportunity with a dagger and roll a 1, which was great. If someone is climbing up an area that you are standing over and you can reach them with your weapon, you should automatically get an attack of opportunity against them with a bonus. If you've got like a long weapon like a spear or something that you have some really good reach on, that's probably a better bonus. If you've got a very small weapon like a dagger and you have to like bend down and stab them as they're coming up, there might be some other weird interplay like with that. Like if you are in the middle of a battle and there's a cliff in front of you and you're fighting someone to your side and then someone's climbing up next to you and all you have is a dagger, I think bending down to stab them with the dagger while they're climbing up might provoke an attack of opportunity against you, since you have to like now squat and do this weird thing. But if you have like a nice long spear, you should be able to stab down without too much problem, probably including bonuses to hit or something like that. But I think those are all going to be hella edge casey.
okay.
Did that answer your questions?
Yeah, good enough. So we're fighting. We'll be fighting for those in the future. Now, that's probably not too big a thing. Second thing, true sight. Did we say in the past, am I able to see magical items and stuff with this?
You should be able to, yes.
Spell penetrates normal and magical darkness. Secret doors become plain. The exact location to displace things is obvious. Invisible things are visible. Illusions and apparent. Polymorphed, changed, or enchanted. Things are apparent. I don't know if enchanted is the same as magical.
Yep.
It is? Okay.
Yep.
Then the question is, should I be able to see things like zones of silence?
That's a great question. Illusions and apparitions are seen through. Polymorphed, changed, or enchanted things are apparent. Even the aura projected by creatures becomes visible so that alignment can be discerned. Further, the recipient can focus his vision into the ethereal. Okay, well, not worrying about that. So with true seeing on, would you be able to see polymorphed, changed, or enchanted things are apparent? Because enchanted here is being precluded, prefaced by polymorphed or changed, I think what they're saying here is that a person who's polymorphed into a dragon would still be apparently a person, or a person who has been changed with makeup would still look like their original self, and someone enchanted to be something else. Because this is in a passage that's talking about things that are altered from their original form. I don't think this actually is saying you can see what is a magical item. That would be something they would call out very specifically. Like they call that out with.
Yeah, that's fine. I trust you.
Sight?
I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page for that. Okay. My other thing was, what are we getting attacks of opportunity for when we're near people? It's not casting spells or doing anything like that, right? Nick, if you're talking, you're muted.
Only if they leave your threat range, turn their back to you, or do something that, makes them completely, undefended. Like,
Well, I mean, casting a spell sounds like it would make you completely undefended, but that's not. We're not counting that as an opportunity attack thing, right?
No, I didn't. Well,
Casting a spell in melee range, I think, does not provoke an attack of opportunity. Although there's certainly a heavy argument to be made for it. I think if you do that, though, wizards and clerics just sort of, it's such a strong nerf to wizards and clerics that it's possibly game breaking.
Okay, don't have to worry about that then.
But where's attack of opportunity? I need to be able to control F this stuff. Player's handbook. Where? Movement in combat, retreat.
Other than that, is there anything else you guys that we argue about or fight about a lot? Oh, I'll have one more thing, and that's just going to be the general. Oh, actually, I have two more quick things.
So, opportunity attack is not really a thing that gets codified until a little bit later in second edition. I don't think it's until like the player's option books. In the player's handbook, they first mention it in the retreating option, where if you're retreating, you can either withdraw, where a character carefully backs away from his opponent who can choose to follow. Character moves up to 1/3 his normal movement rate. If two characters are fighting a single opponent and one of them chooses to withdraw, the remaining character can block the advance of the opponent. This is a useful method for getting a seriously injured man out of combat. So if the two of you are fighting side by side, you could take an action to withdraw. Someone else could cover for you, and then you would be free of the combat. But that's an actual withdraw action. The other thing is to flee, and that's where you just turn and move your full movement weight away. However, the fleeing character drops his defenses and turns his back to his opponent. The enemy is allowed a free attack. Here's an important bit. Or multiple attacks if the creature has several attacks per round at the rear of a fleeing creature. This attack is made the instant the character flees. Doesn't count against the number of attacks that opponent is allowed during combat. The initiative is irrelevant. That doesn't mean if you get 3 attacks with 1 weapon per round, you get 3 attacks against someone's back when they walk away. But if you make 2 claws and a bite, or you're dual wielding, I think you get both of your things. So
it clarifies slightly differently in combat and tactics. It says
good.
threatening enemy gets to make an immediate melee attack. And then in brackets, or sequence of attacks for monsters with multiple attacks against the threatened creature. It also says attacks of opportunity occur when a threatened character or creature ignores the enemy next to it or turns its back on a foe. So I would argue that, like, if you're casting a spell, you're not ignoring the person in front of you. If you're getting your bag off your back and rooting through it for a minute, maybe that counts as ignoring. Maybe that's why you would get the attack of opportunity there.
Just a quick question, then. If me and Mooten have somebody flanked, every time that person attacks somebody, does the other person necessarily get an attack of opportunity?
That's actually quite a good point. But I think no. I think, like, in reality, you take a couple of steps back when it was his turn to attack, and then strike to the right or to the left, right?
Maybe, yeah.
I think, imagine a big open plain, and it's Tyrael and Anton fighting one person. I think in that situation, Tyrael or Anton ends up in front of the person. and the other one ends up behind. Because if Tyrael and Anton move to opposite sides, the person could face forward and look left at Tyrael and right at Anton, but then both Tyrael and Anton could move further behind them, and they would have to turn at one point to face one of them.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It
provoking
seems like
an
if you have a
opportunity
flank,
attack.
it seems like you'd always get an opportunity attack. Is that a role we're doing or no?
Let's not do that.
Let's
That's
not do
too
that?
big of a change.
I'm
fine with that. All I want to do is I just want to have
That's
this.
a massive change.
Yeah, I just want to have this to fall back on so in the future, because in really heated situations, something that can like destroy the drama or remove a lot of the tension is when the hardcore rule lawing comes out and we don't have like anything to sit back on, and then like
Totally.
I don't want the campaign to rest on your generosity or perceived lack of generosity for things. So it's just nice to get it all like
I
sorted out.
completely understand. Yeah. So in this situation, I would say if you have a weapon that you use with one hand, like your longsword, for example, you should be able to strike a person on your flank without any problems. If you were using a two-handed weapon, you might have to turn your back to the person on your other flank.
Okay, I'm only saying this is a big change because, like, for dragons, then I should always get an opportunity attack if I'm behind a dragon attacking Mutin, which is a big change. Because the action economy is going to start to ramp up at that point, where I'm getting an extra attack every single round.
Interesting question. Interesting
Wait,
point.
Can I just make a play here, right?
Yeah.
We're overthinking this. You get an attack opportunity when you leave someone's threat range. That's it.
Yeah.
I think that's how it's always been. I don't think that...
Well, no, it
that's
hasn't.
You're right.
The only reason I'm saying is because it hasn't always been like that. There was a time when I was fighting the Death Knight, and I hopped up on the ledge next to him, and the Death Knight got an attack of opportunity, even though I didn't leave his threat range, just because I was hopping on the ledge. That's the only reason.
I agree,
yeah.
and I think that's wrong. I
Sure.
think it should just be you leave the threat range.
Threat
That's
range.
how attack of opportunity work.
Yeah.
Or if you do something really fucking stupidly obvious in front of them.
Sure, sounds good to me.
I think if you are weakening yourself significantly, and that's more than just an attack, you know, you are dropping down to pick up an item on the ground, then you're like, you know, crouching into a pile
So
on
we're
the ground.
we're
That's
leaving
an
it.
opportunity
Yeah,
attack.
that's fine. Makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
And I think that's why recovering a dropped weapon is a full round action, because it doesn't provoke an opportunity attack to recover your weapon if you
Yes.
take all round to do it. But
Yeah,
if you
I would
want to
agree. If you wanna
recover a
recover
weapon,
it.
yeah.
And then make an attack, you could give up an attack opportunity for it. Yeah.
yes.
Cool.
Yes.
Okay. Couple other quick things. One, I think that in the future, if anything is off, I know we can't do it all the time, but if anything is off or a situation changes in regards to magic, I almost feel like we should always roll into initiative or find a way to roll into initiative. I think we felt a little bit railroaded into the, like, I run to an area of silence, Imric gets into an area of silence, Mutin is in, and we're all kind of like just like moving forward. And it's like if we were doing by initiative, I think that the things might have changed, maybe even for the worse actually in that case. But it feels like things would go a little bit differently, depending on the scariness of a situation. But I don't know how you feel about that.
I'm not really following you 100% here.
That if as soon as Tyrael hits a zone of silence, he rolls into initiative. We all roll into initiative. I think that it plays out a lot differently than all of a sudden you all find that you all ran into a zone of silence. You're all just chilling there, and now the combat begins.
All
And
right.
now,
All right. I don't know if we've all got collective amnesia on exactly what happened there. We walked into the zone of silence. I made a point of saying to, like, out of character, like, let's not go forward, and then we'll go inside. Mutin, no offense to you, was annoyed, and basically, like, it stopped me from in character being able to tell Tyrael to stop, and that's how this happened. So,
Well,
this
how are you going to
situation
tell him?
we were in? It
You're
wasn't
stop-
because
you wouldn't be able to tell me to stop, though, right?
yeah, I know, but I tapped Anton on the back, and
Don't
he
be a
could have told
victim, Nick.
he could have told you to stop. I don't think it's
Leave the
fair
area of silence.
to blame Neil.
Don't
No,
blame
I'm not blaming Neil. I'm just saying that
Okay.
there are times where maybe we just like auto roll into initiative. Like there are times when Neil does that, where he's like, we're at the
Yeah.
end of combat and it seems chill, but we're gonna keep going by initiative. He's done that several times, which makes sense, right? So that we don't have an argument. It's like, well, I thought I had 15 minutes to drink potions, and he was like, no, it was 30 seconds later, you know. So yeah, but okay, that's fine.
Sure.
If in this case
I
it didn't
think-
matter that much, just something to think about. Because when we go through the
I think
dragon, go ahead.
Any point at which you think that we should be in an initiative order, I think it's fair to call for an initiative order, and we can do that.
Gotcha. Okay, we'll do that then. If
Okay.
we feel like initiative needs to be, yeah, okay. Okay, two more quick things on my list. Sorry, and then I'm done with everything. So another thing, what the fuck can you do with people next to you? Because it seems like every time these situations come up, we've got like slightly different rules. Like, is the soy dive a codified 2-kneel thing we can do? Are allies covering for other allies a thing we can do? Is hiding behind? Because it seems like we always have like a different type of rule set for when people are standing
as the Koibu historian, right?
Yep.
The one thing you can do is if you're in combat with someone else, an ally of yours can swap places with you, but takes an opportunity attack for it. That's what we've been able to do.
The other guy takes the opportunity attack.
the guy who, like, if you're dying, like you're on 1 HP and I want to interpose myself, I can like push you out of the way and jump in front, but I'll get attacked by the guy for doing that. Which I think is fair enough. Like,
does that cost you an action, or can I do that on my turn, or?
I can just do it as part of my move, but obviously I get attacked for it.
The person, so let's say Imric and Tyrael are facing an enemy.
Yeah.
Imric wants to get the fuck out of here because he's wounded. On Imric's turn, he can withdraw as an action and use Tyrael as a blocker, and he can back out.
Okay, wait. I don't understand.
Away.
Wait. So you've mentioned this once before. Let me interrupt you here. I don't understand what that means. Use withdraw and have somebody else block. If you use withdraw, you don't need another person to block. Isn't that like a full disengage and you just move away?
But they could just follow you.
They could just follow after you. If you disengage from them, they are allowed to follow you.
Because when you withdraw, you do 1/3 of your move. So if I'm attacking you and you withdraw on 1 HP, unless you're doing something like getting over a bridge and then destroying it, I'm just going to walk up to you with a half move and still attack you on the next round.
Gotcha. But you can do that anyway, right?
No, because if you make a full move away from me and take the opportunity attack.
Oh, you're saying the point of the withdraw is that you get your full move. That's the difference between withdraw.
No,
if you have another person.
No, the point of it is that you don't take the opportunity attack.
Well, what's the difference between withdrawing with an ally there and withdrawing without an ally there? That's what I'm.
Because if
so
I'm
hold on,
defending you, the guy can't follow you without taking an attack from me, or I can block him as he tries to follow you. Right?
We got a hallway. Tyrael and Imric are in the hallway. Bad guys at the fighting the two of them. Imric is injured. It's his turn. He goes first. Then Tyrael goes. Imric can withdraw and sort of like make a fighting withdrawal, stand behind Tyrael, and then back up from there, allowing him to escape the combat situation, taking his full action to do so. Imric could make a flee, where he just turns and runs, which provokes an attack of opportunity. Or Tyrael, on Tyrael's turn, could take the attack of opportunity for Imric by forcibly interposing himself between the two. But that needs to be done on Tyrael's turn. Imric cannot incur an attack of opportunity on Tyrael by ducking behind him. That has to be a voluntary choice that Tyrael takes to squeeze in there.
Okay. The only other thing I had is a little bit more meta-y or amorphous, I guess. What should we prepare for the general level of preparedness for enemy NPCs? Because there have been kind of memeable moments, where there are moments where it really matters in terms of like how real. What?
They're always ready.
Well, because like, so for instance, we had a moment where it seemed like it was going to be the case that in a single round, a soldier was going to stand up, understand that there's an invisible person slaying his allies, run to a window to grab a quiver, realizing he's in a zone of silence, and then drop it out that seemed like a lot of things to happen in one round, where Imric is wandering into his zone of silence and then gets confused and loses his turn, or loses his round. That seemed like there were like a lot of different types of ideologies at war with one another there.
But didn't Neil pull back on that?
He did eventually after we argued it, but like I just want to get something kind of more formal here so we have something to refer back to, so we don't have to, like, we're doing this now so we don't have to argue about this in the future is my dream. The dream.
As fun as all this has been, we're literally going to be arguing the next time we fight anything.
No, we don't, because we can just say, remember we decided this, and then we're done. That's the dream.
Moot's just been writing in chat that he's not listening, and he's.
We don't need to. It's you and me are the arguers, okay? We're good.
Don't gotta out the man like that.
He deserves it.
Okay.
Still better.
So the question before us is
general preparedness of NPCs. Is it reasonable within like one round we're going to be like reacting and responding to things? Yeah, a simple yes or no will suffice.
I don't really understand the question, is my point. Is what I'm
like
saying.
Like the cup of silence detection, even though we meme about it, was still an insane response.
Well,
that guy's a national hero, though. He's not a normal man.
It's gonna depend on the training and the level and the position.
I was like level 1, but
okay. He's a level 1 guard on duty in a very intense situation, staring out a window.
Okay.
Expecting enemy engagement, including magical enemy engagement. So he's ready for that stuff.
Okay, that's
you
fair.
should generally expect your enemies to be fairly competent, unless you've got reasons to expect them not to be.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. That's good enough for me. All right. I think that's everything, more or less, that I have. Do you guys want to do, I guess, items now?
Not really, no.
Good.
I think we already did the items, right? Let me tell you what you got, Steve.
For the most part, yeah.
You can disagree if you want, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I put it in the chat. You got the You got the dagger, obviously. Yeah.
Hold on, let me open this. Okay.
Yeah. You get boots of speed to replace your boots of springing and striding.
I don't have boots of spring striding, but they
No,
melted.
you lost. That's what
Oh,
I'm saying.
yeah,
You get
you're
the
saying
boots
to
of
replace
speed
it. Yeah, I got you.
them.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I think you can upgrade one of your rings of protection to a ring of protection +4.
Okay.
Does that give 4 to saves as well, or only 3?
4 to saves, I think. Oh,
It must be 4 to saves.
Well,
I think so. Unless
Ring of
Neil
Protection
speaks
plus
up
5
now.
only gives 1 to saves, I think.
Really?
It's either 5 or plus 6. I can't remember.
But I think that's all the obvious stuff you get, Cyril. Oh, and yeah, no, I think that's it. I mean, there's a bunch of other stuff you can take if you want, but I think optimally they're the straight upgrades for you.
In the DMG, a +4 on AC is +2 to saving throws.
We went through this when last time we had the discussion. Ring of Protection, Neil's changed it to say that they just give the same to saves as the D to AC.
Yeah, so your Ring of Protection +5. Wow, it does give a
+5 to
+5 to saving throws, which is super strong. That's a huge buff for that ring.
Yeah.
Yes,
But
but in
we're
reality,
sticking
it
with
makes. But it makes no difference because I'm already at 3s and all saves anyway.
Right.
So the only way that I suppose if I had minuses,
Oh, perfect. Okay.
it would matter.
I think that is it then, right? You guys have all the cloak of protections are all doled out.
I've done
Yeah,
my
most
items.
of it's going to followers.
I think we need to do that in between sessions. I just don't want to
Yeah,
spend
I
an
don't
hour
wanna-
No,
running
yeah, we can do that
items and
later.
all the followers. Yeah. But I think it's safe to say if you're a fighter working for us, you've got at least a longsword +2. You've
Yeah,
got gloves
at
of war.
least.
You know, you've got a ring of protection +2. Like I
Uh-huh.
think those are the standards because we've got like 7 or 8 of each of those.
Also,
Can I take
yeah.
Frostbrand if you're not going to use it?
let me check.
Because I'm done using one of my spears, and I need another thing in my offhand. So it's either going to be Frostbrand or a Sword of Sharpness.
Uh-huh.
But Frostbrand is just better against bigger monsters.
Is it?
Well, it's going to be better against Scoria when we go
Yeah.
down the line. I'm cool using a Sword of Sharpness right now. But eventually for Scoria, I might need that or one of the other great weapons. Just a heads up.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't
Yeah,
need
I
to
don't
take it
mind.
now.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and we switched our
I'll
swords of
use the-
sharpness.
yeah.
You've got the +3 one. I've got the +1 one, right?
It's only a +1. They're all +1.
They're all +1?
They're all +1, but they act as a +3. So like you can hit a dragon.
He means
'cause the dragon
he means like if you have to hit a ghost that says it only gets hit by +3 or
Yeah.
better items, it works for that. But it's only actually mechanically a +1.
It's only mechanically a +1.
Cocked. Okay.
But you have the king's one and I have the glacier one.
Okay. Do the
Alright.
Okay.
So where
Yeah.
we left off, we
True.
just teleported home with King Gilda's head and a bag full of magic items. And once the spells ended and we're safely back at home, I'll look over the worn and battered faces of my brothers and say, we have to get cleaned up. We've got to take this. And I nod towards King Gilda's head outside and announce our return. Cyril, you have to do it.
Indeed.
I'll
Are
put
we
the- Crown on Tyril's head.
Well, I'm not.
Do we have
I'm
a-
absolutely not doing that.
Do we have
have a
King
crown?
Gilda's crown?
You took his head. I imagine you took the crown with
Nice.
it.
Well, you didn't
Right.
say we had a
His
crown on the
crown's a
head.
battle.
Of course he's wearing his crown. Well, yeah, his crown is fitted onto his helmet, so it just sits nice and neatly in there, and it'll pop off with a little bit of pressure.
Okay.
I will, like as they start like getting themselves cleaned up, I'm gonna pull out my crystal ball now, and I would like to scry on the keep and crown hold, like from well above. Like I want to look down on crown hold, basically, see what's going on.
This is the first time you're scrying on Crownhold, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, we were just there.
I was just
He
there.
knows it well.
I've got a piece of it.
True. Anton busts out a fat rap.
What?
I'm gonna give you an 85% chance to successfully scry on Crownhold.
Go high,
You
Nick.
rolling it, or shall I?
Go high.
Easy.
All right. You can see. This is just a few moments after you've arrived, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, then there's Crownhold. It's dark. There's not much to be seen. I do believe this was in nighttime, right?
Oh
I
yeah.
didn't see Scoria.
Yeah.
I mean, don't forget we had to like a mile out of the city before we could teleport.
That's true.
Yeah. No, it's just a town. It's just a city.
Scoria's not there.
No.
Looks like we had more time than I thought.
I check where Scoria is.
She's on her way to Crownhold. She's almost there.
I tell Imric to hold it.
Yeah, I'll just keep the crystal ball open and we'll wait for her.
He's gonna go insane. We did it.
Well, maybe pick like 66 on a D100 to see if your mind breaks.
He can view for
Oh,
30
shit, yeah.
minutes before he needs to
Oh,
make
you're good. You're good.
Okay.
insanity checks. So you sit and you watch for half an hour, and sure enough, Scoria arrives, her wings beating in the air, like slowing her descent out of a dive from the sky to an almost like hummingbird level of like pause as she unleashes a gout of flame on the base of the castle, swelling it with her fire, landing her feet on a nearby building, like beginning to crush the building as she comes to a sitting situation, her fire breath, still inflagging the building. Turns around, stomps over a couple of things, climbs up onto one of the walls surrounding the city, leaps into the air, and then begins to making sliding passes back and forth over the castle, setting it on fire. You can see the small people in the town running and fleeing. Do you hear through the crystal ball?
I don't think so.
I don't think so, no.
No, so you don't know what's happening audibly down there, but you can see through the haze the small people of town fleeing as Scoria sets the keep on fire, taking her red dragon breath and melting stones. And I think somewhere in the middle of her sieging the castle, your time will run out.
Yeah. Looks like Scoria's turned on them. If I remember correctly, King Gilda's heir is a baby. There won't be any future king in Mystria now. Scoria and her monsters will take control.
Yeah, I mean, there isn't there. What are they? Is it called an? It's not an heir apparent. Regent? A regent? Is that what it's
Regent,
called?
yeah.
Well, these are all
yeah.
things.
Well, yeah, they are. Thanks, Quavo. Is there like a
Regent is the
regent?
person that rules, yeah.
Yeah, and instead of the king?
We
Or the
probably
baby?
just killed them, right?
I don't know, did we? Maybe. Okay, well.
I think
I
we
mean,
should have a
say-
moment of. I think we should have a moment of silence for our mother.
Well, we don't know 100% if Mom is dead. She's underground.
They put a hand on Tyrell's shoulder, says, I don't think she's going to make it. We made the right choice, though. I look across both of them and nod.
Of course, we made the right
To
choice.
keep you two, then lose all of our family.
We could have all been dead if we'd gone into whatever trap they had waiting for us there. We
Indeed.
barely escaped the one we ran into.
Are you able to scry on Mom?
I can try. I'll wave away the image of Crownhold and try and scry on our mother. She's burning.
We don't know that.
Literally see the flesh melt from her bones.
Nope, it fails. You cannot scry on her.
Mom's
Perhaps
dead.
it's protected by the
Of
the
course,
spells.
for sure.
Perhaps, Imric.
Indeed.
That's the only explanation.
How are we gonna do our great return?
Well, we need to get cleaned up. We've got blood all over our clothes.
I think it looks better if we enter like this.
Do you think? Tyrell needs to look regal.
I don't know if we can look regal quite yet. I mean, our entire country is kind of on fire right now. Maybe it might be a bit haughty
I think it
for
would be
us, so-
unbelievable, Imric, if people didn't see our natural wounds on us and what happened. If we came out in pearly white armor, etc., no one would, believe what
Shall
we
we-
had just done.
Should we become invisible and reveal ourselves in the town square by the temple, or should we just walk through the streets with his head?
We
Let's
just
be
walk-
invisible and let's go to the and let's appear in front of the castle. Let's do that.
Okay, Tyrell, I will dig through some shit and find the Rod of Splendor, and maybe pull out the
smart.
armor of command.
Yes.
Tyrell, maybe you should wear this.
Yeah, I was planning on it. I'm definitely sliding into that. I don't know if what does the Rod of Splendor do again?
+1
18 charisma.
Oh, there's also an Ion Stone that gives +1 charisma as well.
You could be
Oh,
at the
that's true.
19 then, I think. Unless the armor command sets it at 18. You probably wouldn't get the +1 then. I think it does set it at 18.
Oh, you're holding onto the armor of command, yeah? I don't have it on my sheet.
I think it's on the party sheet. I don't hold it.
Oh, okay.
Didn't you give
Oh no, I do it. It's plate mail of command. And
No,
no,
we
we
never
didn't. Absolutely.
She
not.
wanted it, but she didn't get it.
She mentioned it in passing. I think when we were swimming when she was naked and she was boobing out.
She was boobing out.
She didn't make a formal request though.
She was peeping out.
She was looking sexy.
If I
Where is treated as if he had 18 charisma for all encounter reactions with the armor of command. So I don't think
so
it'll stack with other.
yeah.
What does the Rod of Splendor do?
bonuses.
Gives you +1 charisma, but also lets you summon a giant tent, right, with which to feed people. So I'm thinking that maybe we should go to the town square and summon a giant feast.
Possessor of this rod is automatically and
Probably cause a
continually
riot.
bestowed with 18 charisma for as long as the item is held or carried.
Okay, so these are both
Whatever.
set.
18 charisma.
I'll just wear the
Yeah.
armor or plate mail of command is what I have.
Just do that. Take the rod as well. I mean, it's fucking kingly to have a scepter, isn't it?
It is kingly. Isn't that a problem?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, you
good.
don't want the
I just want to
scepter.
wear
Yeah,
my
yeah.
plate mail of command. Okay, I'm not trying to step on any toes
Okay.
yet. Okay.
Okay. Just as a heads up, I have 3 castings of Invis on scrolls.
Mm-hmm.
If I use them for this, I won't be able to cast Invis from the scroll. I think it's worth it, but I'm just letting you know.
I think that we're gonna be totally fine just to walk through the streets. But if we want to cast invisibility, that's fine. We just lose.
Fuck it. Let's just walk through the fucking streets.
Just
Okay.
walk through the
Let's
street.
walk through the
Anton?
streets.
Puts away his Velthara spear. I don't even. Yeah, he puts away his Velthara spear for the last time into his amulet.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to have a sword of sharpness at his side, his Rohana spear in his hand, and King Gilder's head with the crown in his right hand. He's grasping it by the head, by the hair, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And we go.
All right. You come out of your house. Your servants are shocked and surprised to see you walking through their halls. You make it out and down the streets of the town. It's a bit of a cool, rainy day here. Actually, it's nighttime, right?
It
You're
is.
doing this-
No, we should wait for day.
Fuck yeah, we should wait for day.
We should wait for the morning. We'll wait for the morning.
We'll wait for morning, but we're gonna Jussie Smollett. We're not gonna clean ourselves up or anything. We're gonna remain.
Yep, correct.
Just as.
Yeah. Yeah. You take a nap. You wake up still in your bloody clothes, your wounds, and you head out.
Emmerich gets +1 HP. Don't forget.
Do I get
Oh, I don't
spells
know,
back? Are we doing that or no?
What?
If you want to stick around and memorize spells in the morning, you can do that, but it'll delay your arrival
Let's
until
just go.
mid-afternoon.
It's fine. We can just go.
He's walking us into a trap. We're railroaded. It's all
He
over.
is true.
I'll carry the Rod of Splendor then,
Okay, go for it.
as we go.
Openly? To get your 18 charisma?
Does it not? Does it look just like a scepter? If it does, maybe I
Well,
won't.
it is a scepter, right? It's
Okay, fine.
a rod of splendor, which
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is
yeah.
one of those. Well, I know you know this, Nick, because you're British. But for the rest of our audience, rods and scepters have always been a status symbol. The rulers have always wielded these rods, these scepters, as a position, like a symbol of their position and rank. So if you walk around toting around a fantastic rod like this, it's not just like some dude's holding a fancy stick. You're essentially signaling to people that you are a powerful leader, that you are someone who commands and demands respect. If an ordinary citizen were to walk through the streets carrying a rod of splendor, they'd probably be arrested for treason because culturally
ordinary
they're
citizen.
asserting themselves as
You've
an
literally
all-powerful
talked me
lord.
into it. I'm carrying the rod.
Based.
Okay, so when you carry this rod, you are,
Signaling that I'm
culturally
a powerful leader. Yeah.
yes, but usually rods are reserved for monarchs. So this is going to be like a serious show of
People will just think it's
Um,
his
big
rod.
nuts.
Yeah, I'm a wizard.
That's
yeah,
all
I'm a
it is.
wizard.
People are just gonna think that it's no, not even your rod. They're gonna think it's King Gilder's rod that we're bringing back to the queen.
No, that's
So
true.
that
it's
could
fine.
very well be it. That
She's
might
gonna
be,
make us
I'm
hand that
bringing
rod
the
over, though.
rod. But if you were bringing King Gilder's rod to the queen, you'd probably carry it on a pillow as I'm not holding this, but I'm bringing it to someone. For you to walk
let's-
with your rod in
Yeah,
your
it's
hand,
fine.
No, but let's think about what we're doing here. We're showing ourselves back to the public. We're throwing King Gilder's head. We're declaring our return, and essentially that we've won the war. So I think, in terms of what we're doing as a group here, there is
This is fine.
There is a little element of power play.
If
Yeah, but the
queen's
power
mad,
play is going to be
we'll
that the
kill her.
war is over and we're the new boys in town.
Yeah, but we don't have to say it, but we can signal it. I think it's fine.
Well, yeah, but are
think
we
it's
are
fine.
we stoking the flames of civil war?
No, it's fine. It's fine. Let's just
There is
go.
no civil war.
Not
Who
yet.
cares?
Okay. Are
We
you
go.
taking the head? You've got King Gilder's head?
Yeah, Anton will take the head.
Okay.
You've got the armor. Just like you can just like look badass.
And you've got the rod.
Yeah.
Hero will walk in front, and Imric and Anton will walk like a step behind him at his like side.
Mhm.
It's also signifying something.
Wielding
I'm
the
gonna-
rod and the head and the crown.
Yeah. Great.
The small folks of your city will stand back in awe and astonishment as the parade of McGarrys comes through town in their full splendor, touting the head of the enemy. These small people don't know who the fuck heads this is, but you're carrying somebody's head and a crown and all this other stuff, and you're looking, like.
And this is the first time we're
heroes of
back in
legend.
fucking year
Where
plus,
are they?
right? They didn't even know we were here. We've been under deep cover.
Yes.
Yeah.
You will see people immediately move the fuck out of the way in the street. Even folks who are just like, set up as beggars on the side of the street will stand to their feet in like a symbol of respect, a gesture of honor. No one remains seated around you. Everyone stands, bows, curtsies. Some people might kowtow. So any form of respect that they can manage will be done as the way
Emmerich
before
curtsies.
you clears. And you make your way to the center of the city.
We want to get to the front of the castle where what's up?
Yeah. I want Tyrael McGarry to make me a charisma check with his 18 charisma right now. Because you come across the first section. Oh, well, with the 18, you'll be fine.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank God.
The first section of guards who are pledged to defend the city. And the first patrol of guards, as they see you come, immediately snap to a salute and hold their spears over their hearts in a motion of fealty. Quick, subtle motion of fealty as you march past them all the way to the city square. There's the moat around the castle. There's the bridge that crosses the castle, currently down because it's the middle of the day or early day. And a large crowd begins to gather in the center of Wicthron Rorenta.
We continue to walk towards where I imagine there's going to be like a bridge or something leading into the actual capital itself, and there should be a guard there that you need to request permission from to enter.
As
Normally,
the
you would
bridge-
need to request permission to enter, but as the two of you approach the bridge and moved across it, the guards on the other side immediately open the castle doors.
I don't want to
Left
go in.
hand
I want to
visors.
call the queen out of the castle to come to the city center, and then we'll back up and we'll wait for her to come to us.
Yeah, what do you say?
Bring the queen out to the courtyard. We have an announcement. The McGarrys have returned. We come bearing gifts to the city, to the citizens of Wicthron Rorenta, and to our queen, Queen Vic, whatever her name is.
Valuria
Valoria.
Wick.
Yeah.
I whispered Cyril, before you speak, I'll announce you and your titles to the crowd.
Well, go for it. Okay.
Oh wait, but we wait for the. I don't know. We wait for
Yeah,
the
it'll take a little while. The queen is probably in the middle of something. Someone has to find her in the castle.
I asked Tyrael, is it okay if I address the crowd and tell them King Gilder is dead?
No, let
Vengeance-
Cyril
We'll wait
say
to
that.
announce to the queen. We want her to be the first to hear the news.
True.
It takes some time for a servant to find her. And in the meantime, the people of Wicthron Rorenta and the refugees that have arrived here begin to press close. They begin to fill into the streets. You can hear the chatter running amongst them. People are braving the rain, not concerned about getting wet in the gentle morning rain here. As the town square begins to fill up from people pouring in from across the city. Eventually, a door on an upper floor on the castle leading to a balcony that overlooks everything opens, and the queen and her guard step out onto the balcony overlooking the moat, the bridge, the town square. They're
Crowd
maybe
cheers.
100 feet or so away from you. There is a
I-
cheer running through the
I love
crowd.
that. I looked at Cyril for approval to announce him.
Is this a good time for a break, or should we do it?
We
It's
don't
been
have
an hour and a half.
too long today. It's up to you guys.
We should
let's
take
just
our
go.
only
Let's-
break right
we
here.
should take our
Yeah.
only break
Take
right
it
here.
away.
Yeah, a good time to take our break. I think it's a good idea.
Good.
Also,
Figure out
Koibu, I
all
want to
our
roll
effects.
into initiative here, okay?
Absolutely.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm
100%.
just kidding. Okay, we'll be right back.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Tombs of Scoria. There are party stands in the rain, the gentle rain of the morning. King Gilder's head held aloft,
Yeah.
armor of
All right.
command.
Wait, can it start in the bag?
Yeah, let it. Let it
However
be
you
a
guys want to do it.
reveal.
I'll ask it because I mean we're on our way
so
there.
we're stood on the bridge, right? We see the queen come out on the balcony. I looked at Tyrael with a look that says, like, are we ready to go? He gives me a little nod.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if the
when
queen is
Tyrael gives
before
me a
us
nod,
and
I-
everybody,
yeah.
don't pull it out yet. Just you'll know when.
Yep.
I'll activate my fly, Neil, and I will levitate a few feet from the top of the bridge and fly out above the crowd, like 10, 15 feet off the bridge, so I'm not like in the air above them all. And I'll say, people of Drekis and Wicthron Renta, I present to you Tyrael Magari, Lord of the Riverlands, King of Mystria. And then I'll float back to the bridge.
A murmur starts.
Yes, people have already been talking about what's been happening. Are these the real? Of course they're the real. Can't you say to them, look at that head? Whose head is that? I don't know. Is that a crown in his hand? You know, the rumors are running
Oh,
round.
the head's in the bag now, but yeah.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Rumors are running rampant. Everyone wants to know what's happening. You make your announcement, your proclamation, Tyrael.
I bow shortly before my queen, and she's on the balcony in front, and the citizens are behind us.
Did you take a knee or did you bow?
I just bowed. Nice short bow.
Yeah. She's on the balcony in front of you and slightly to your side.
Good.
And the people are in the town square behind you.
Nice.
And it sounds like the three of you are on the bridge, halfway between civilians and royalty.
True. That's right. With my splendid plate mail of command shimmering with the sun shining on us, as the sun often does shine on the McGarrys. I turn around and I speak to my people. Greetings, citizens of Wicthron Renta. Right? And then I turn and I nod and I say, and to our queen, Valaria. And I speak between the two. It has been a challenging 3 years, 4.5 years, 4 years, for our kingdom of Drekis. No one knows this better than the three of us, brothers McGarry. There has been an immeasurable cost. We have lost the lives of many fathers and sons in the battlefield, and our mothers and daughters at home have made great sacrifices for us to persevere. The last of these days may have been the darkest yet. Our cities have burned, our people have died, perhaps even hope was fading from the hearts of the people in our kingdom. But our queen, my precious aunt, and I'll turn to her and I'll nod again, Queen Valaria, was wise, and she entrusted us, the three brothers McGarry, with a mission that none but us three could accomplish. I'll point to my youngest brother here, Anton, today has claimed his vengeance against the city of Mystria. I'll point to my brother Imric, and I'll say, my brother Imric here has proven himself to be the greatest wizard of all in battle. And I'll nod to the citizens and I'll say, and I, Tyrael, today bring to you, citizens of Wicthron Renta, and I'll turn around and I'll say, to you, my queen Valaria. And I'll point to Anton, and I will
Anton.
say, the head of King Gilder,
Out.
King of Mystria.
The head comes out. The crowd roars. The queen politely taps in your general direction.
I toss it like forward, like letting the head roll towards the queen.
It rolls across the bridge, coming to an awkward tilt. Silence falls over everyone as the cheering dies down. The queen looks on for a moment, sort of just looking to see if you have any other words. And when it's apparent that there are no more to be had, she will motion to her spellcaster, who will whip out a scroll, read some words on it. You can see the ink on the backside of the scroll sort of inflaming and burning as he casts a spell off of it. And then he touches the queen on the shoulder very gently and nods. And she speaks with a booming voice that echoes out over the crowd at high volumes. My dearly beloved nephews, it has indeed been a long 4.5 years. Our people have bled, our cities have burned, and finally, We are approaching the end of this period of suffering. We are approaching the dawn of a new empire. She points towards Tyrael. People of Drekis, may I present to you the new king of Mystria, Tyrael McGarry, and waits for the crowd to, erupt in applause and cheering.
Yeah.
Nice.
Let's
I'll
go,
turn and
Tyrael.
I'll bow, get down on one knee to my queen, my empress.
She, lets the crowd cheer appropriately. She leaves you down on your knee for a moment, and then speaking, I, Valuria Wick, come from a long and ancient line of kings and queens, rulers alike, but from this day forth, I shall be the Empress of Arcadia. Let all people of Arcadia bow to the true ruler of the continent, which prompts a swath of dropping to knees, curtsies, kowtowing across the entire front range here. Even her guards will sort of like take a half, knee down, not all the way down, not entirely dropping their guards, but taking a moment to make themselves small before her. And after an appropriate pause, she'll speak once more. My dear nephews, we owe you so much. Please, come inside and receive your rewards.
I think I'll rise and then I'll nod to our two brothers, and I think we head inside.
Yep.
Yeah. Inside, there will...
To the
What did you
hottest person. I give a wink to the hottest peasant.
Why, aren't you married?
He's married. Yeah.
It's all right. She swoons as you walk past, or he swoons. I don't know. I think you had once upon a time said
He's
Anton
bisexual,
was.
yeah.
Yeah. So whoever it is that you blink towards.
Roll
wink
for it.
towards.
Do on a D2.
D2, it's a guy. D1, it's a chick.
Based.
Yeah.
Yeah. The man fans himself slightly before collapsing in the arms of a nearby stranger.
Funny.
Inside the keep, there are a pair of knights waiting to escort you to wherever it is that the queen has in store for the lot of you. And they will process with you up through the stairs, through hallways, until you finally come to the comfortable war room, outfitted with a nice roaring fire filled with oaken wood. In this room, there will be generals, colonels, some spellcasters over there, one of the few remaining clerics in town over there, two non-warrior nobles who will probably just happen to be in the castle at the moment and are here attending the ceremony as well as a scattering of servants and influential folks who have been of help. Like there's Clertis, hanging out over there, this time not carrying the pile of books he's always seen with. There's this strange woman that you're not familiar with, wearing a Cuban-style clothing, kind of standing out in the corner. It's a large group of people pressed into this small war room, and as the two of you enter, announced by the knights who walk in with you, Queen Valuria Wick will stand up from her very comfortable chair in here and give an applause as the three of you walk in, which is echoed by the lords, the warriors, the generals, the mages, the people of influence, the servants, the squires, the scribes, all the folks. A spot has been made for you in the center of the room, and the three of you can approach it, standing directly before the queen, surrounded by all the people worth a damn in the castle.
As we approach, I will call out to the queen. And I will say, "My queen, my dearest aunt, though this is a proud, glorious day for our kingdom, I would ask for a moment of silence, as it is a bit of a sad day for the McGarrys. We were not able to recover our mother from the castle. It seems as though Scoria is burning the entire keep down in a rage. It's unlikely that she is to survive. Sorry to tell you this about your dearest sister. You know it hurts us as well, as she was our mother.
Drop my head.
The queen and all
Anton
of her
sheds a few tears.
the queen and all of her stoic duty stands there, sort of firm. Doesn't really bat an eye at this issue. Takes a moment. I feared her loss the moment she was captured. I never expected to retrieve her alive. But it is a sad day to see one of our own burned by dragon fire. She joins you all in a moment of silence. And after a moment, she looks up and says, the head, to Anton. Is that is Gilder's head?
Anton nods. He plucks a hair from it, puts the hair in his pocket, and he's going to like bring over the head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she will take it, hold it by the hair, letting it dangle in front of her. The face is already turning sort of grayish and weird. Sets it down on a nearby table, and looks to you again, Anton. And his crown?
I point to the top of the head.
It was still on his head. Excellent. She snatches it off the head, and holds out a hand to her knight beside her, who draws his rose blade, places it in her hand, and she sort of levels it in the direction of Tyrael and commands you to kneel before her.
I take a step forward and I kneel.
She will doff both of your shoulders with the sword. Tyrael, with these words, and by this crown, I appoint you King of Mystria, to rule over its lands until the end of your line. May it be a long rule. And after doffing both sides of your shoulders with the sword, she will hand it back to the knight. She will place the crown on your head, and she will give you the ceremonial slap to the face. May you never take an offense again.
Is that really the ceremony? Okay.
That's a thing.
Okay.
No, it's a thing. Because now you're too good to ever be hit. That was the last time anyone can ever strike you.
True. I'll let
Else
the
they face
Scoria.
the death penalty now.
Okay.
He'll die, I promise you.
I nod and I'll stand.
Okay.
Is Shine in here, or is she just sitting at the top of the castle?
Shine is nowhere to be found.
I'll ask. Notice Shine is not here with us today. Are you at liberty to say where she is, or?
She's within the skies, above the clouds, patrolling, keeping our lands safe from the dragon that would destroy them.
Okay, I nod.
Is Scoria check?
Scoria is still in Crownhold.
I'll clear my throat. For all of our jubilations here, there does remain a few pressing issues. With this ceremony, the humans and human-like folk living in Mystria now face certain doom and misery at the hands of Scoria and her army of monsters. As their protector, Tyrael, our Empress, is there anything that can be done for them? Or do we just look to rebuild once the beast is dead?
She looks to Tyrael. And then back to Imric. You should ask your king.
I appreciate the deference, but unfortunately, I am king only in name right now. I imagine we'll have to have a more detailed conversation about what the capture of Mystria actually looks like. Who's to know which noble families will pledge allegiance to us, or me, I should say, instead of Scoria? Who's to know how Scoria will ravage the lands of Mystria? Perhaps it's best to begin to communicate via ambassadors and figure out where Mystria's allegiance or loyalty will stand now, with Gilder dead.
She nods. Astute.
I think.
What is the
that we
plan
should
for
start
Scoria?
allowing either immigrants, or we need to start marching our armies up in order to protect what human lives are left inside of Mystria before they all die to, or become food for Scoria's beasts.
I agree.
We must act quick.
Well, I believe now we should see a peace settle over the continent, yes? We should be able to begin, or I would imagine, of course it's the Queen's command, but I imagine we could begin marching armies north, freeing towns, feeding citizens, disarming soldiers. Hopefully the enemy soldiers will lay down their weapons as they see Scoria turn her fiery breath onto themselves and crownhold. And once we've captured the majority of Mystria, perhaps we can begin to set up some sort of siege of Mount, what is it called? Mount Dragon? Dragon's Peak?
Dragon Peak.
Dragon
yeah.
Peak. And yeah, we can begin to settle in for the final battle against Scoria. But I find it hard to imagine that Mystria is going to offer much resistance to us at this point.
agree.
Good King McGarry, says one of the nearby officers. Conquering Mystria has never been the problem. Holding back the dragon always has been. At a moment's notice, our armies are prepared to march across the land, seizing each and every city upon the path. But we cannot hold any of these cities once we leave them. A garrison of men left in a town will immediately be destroyed by the dragon should it come by. We cannot maintain a grip on the cities, on the towns, upon the places of infrastructure until the dragon is rid from the skies.
I turn to Tyrell and say,
Well-
if you would let me answer, my king.
I shake my head and I look to the officer and I say, Officer, I understand that you've been conducting war here for, nay, 500 or 600 days without the McGarrys present. But with us present, Scoria will not be leaving Dragon's Peak to attack or siege any more cities. Guarantee you that once the McGarrys move north, the only place Scoria is going to feel comfortable is within her keep in Dragon's Peak. I promise you that. And then I'll look to Emmerich and I'll say, Emmerich, if you have anything to add.
I think the officer raises a good point. I think as a precaution, before any marching takes place, I should be given leave, maybe a week or two, to set up teleport locations in all the major cities across Drakus. That way, if Scoria in an act of desperation leaves her lair, attempts to circumvent our armies and wreath more havoc down on our citizens, we can react quickly. We can teleport there with a moment's notice and intercept her before she can cause too much damage. If she's foolish enough to leave her mountain, we'll cut her down in the sky.
Yeah, I nod. We should take the proper precautions, of course. Trust me, if there's anything the McGarrys have learned thus far, it's how much an important plan with proper precautions can aid you in victory.
Anton
Exactly.
laughs. Uncharismatically. So it seems it's very out of place with his 6 charisma. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I think that was actually good, yeah.
With that, I think, could we not somehow get the word out into the towns of Mystria that when the army comes, anyone who surrenders will be taken in and protected?
We shall send out riders immediately to scour the lands, delivering messages under a flag of peace. Why don't you write a letter and we'll have it copied and made ready? I'm sure we can deliver them to every reach, every major town and village within Mystria, within a matter of weeks.
Good. That should give me long enough to create my defenses.
Of course. Looking to Anton, do we have all of the Rohana stuff or did we lose anything?
We have everything.
Got it all. Yeah, we've got it all.
Do you need any of it anymore? Do you still use any of it or?
I do.
I've
I
got-
use the spear.
Okay, that's fine. At some point we need to
We
return
can return
that.
everything else.
Eh,
It's
we'll
a good
just
point, Cyril. And I do think that the Lord of Cronwick, I list the other people that we've stolen from. Once this is all over, we should make.
We're not saying any of this out
We're
loud.
not-
We're just that was OOC. Yeah, we'll definitely consider that. For sure.
Yeah.
Emmerich, yes, the people we've stolen from this very room, we will return our shit to you, I promise.
Lord Cronwick's not here. Although he might be, actually. I guess it's
Yeah, but
safe,
these fuckers are all related and inbred, so we don't want to piss off his second cousin or some shit, Okay, we look
Lord
to the queen.
Cronwick is dead, I'm sorry to say.
Yeah, but his family lives on, I'm sure.
That's our
yeah.
shit then.
Yeah, we
No,
look
yeah,
to
we should
the.
reward the heirs of the people that we've taken from and make sure that
True, I agree.
Yeah, of
they're
course.
brought along.
Imric,
Yeah.
with your 18 charisma bestowed by your rod of splendor, the queen gazes upon your illustrious face, reaches out a hand, and motions for the rod within your grip.
Yeah, I hand it to her.
Oh no.
As the rod leaves your hand and enters hers, there is a momentary gasp from the assembled people. A sort of look of horror passes across everyone's face for just an instant, and there's like a quick sort of like looking around at one another.
I will scour at people for that.
Okay.
Anton
Bring your
does
input
I
to
pull
the
my
cast.
cloak over my plate mail of command, so I can't be seen by anybody.
Like I said, my friends, we all make great sacrifices to get to where we are now.
Wait, I look at Imric. Does he look fucking weird, or?
No, right now he looks fine. He just
Okay.
looks like ordinary Imric.
Yeah, they're just
It's just a
gasping
moment.
because. Yeah, okay.
Wait, was there something that did he look weird for that split second or no?
Can
Can I do a perception check to see if I saw?
Well,
it?
no, we're fucking looking at each other in a room. I didn't know if they just
Yeah.
said it because like, oh my god, we thought he was an 18 charisma god, but then he turned a little bit and he's got like 3 chins and like, ooh, what just happened? Or
I
did
wanna
they
know-
see a?
No,
fucking
there was
demon.
definitely a look of like true horror, not just
Okay.
like, oh my god, he changed suddenly. There was like a look of,
It was like they all just discovered the stone skin rules change again in mid combat. That kind of like. Horror.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, gotcha,
Yeah,
gotcha.
yeah, yeah,
Okay, I understand.
Did they see him look like a fucking demon? What did I see?
for the briefest of moments, you sort of saw his flesh like hanging off the end of his face, like his cheek just kind of like, you know, there was a quick flash of his.
A little bit of LSD in the water supply. That's what happens when you look at people's faces too long, you know? That happens.
Only for a moment, but clearly everyone saw it, and the room goes quiet.
Is my raven here?
That is up to you.
yeah,
I
I bring
assume
it-
you didn't bring the imp with you.
No, well,
yeah.
I think the raven is on my shoulder. But
I say something as the room goes quiet, but I'll wait for Nick. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna have it turn into it, but it's probably asking for trouble. I won't. I think it's just on my shoulder now.
Okay.
We've given up much to see Scoria's defeat. Please do not think ill of my brother, for we are both deformed, it seems.
It's not a matter of laughter. If you'd seen what I'd seen, you wouldn't be laughing.
The low chuckle from the nervous lords quickly dies away.
Well, as nice as all this is, I shall begin my preparations. I bow to Tyrael and to the Queen, and I'll walk out.
Anton will walk with you.
I'll remain with the queen, my aunt.
All right, the two of you exit. Some of the other assembled lords look a little uncomfortably at each other until the door shuts and there's an audible like sigh of relief in the room. Did you have something
Anton
else you wanted
consoles
to
Emmerich.
I'll say to the queen, I say, perhaps you want to speak a little bit later, but it's best to find out what you believe our next actions should be. We can speak about that at a later time tonight if you'd like, but otherwise we'll get started on preparations to, well, I guess Emmerich has a job, but me and Anton will be relatively free. Perhaps we could be of use to you in the meantime.
She looks around the room and gives you a polite nod. Another time.
Okay. I nod.
I think there are preparations to be made. A feast and a banquet are called for. This is a joyous day. I know tomorrow will be a dark one filled with scales and talons and fire. But for today and for tonight, we should rejoice. I'm sure your wife would like to see you too. And she sort of looks behind her, and you can see that woman that you barely remember marrying standing back
child.
behind her. There's no child, unfortunately.
Isn't she a child? How old is she? Wasn't she
No.
like 16?
A couple years
His
ago
wife?
when they got married.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just to cut back to Anton saying, what did you say?
Anton
funny
just
was
like
it?
pretty much consoled you and said, "What happened to you? Like, what was that?"
I shake my head and say, perhaps one day if things are desperate enough again, I'll show you, but I'd rather not. think of it. But anyway, the lion does not concern himself with the opinions of sheep.
Jeez.
Anton, when we travel with the army, I intend to be studying my spell books. Can you look into finding us, or get the servants to find us a carriage, a comfortable one?
Yeah, I can, Immerk.
Thank you.
Anton
Is
will
that-
split. Oh, go ahead.
That's doable, right, Neil? I know, like you said, you can't learn spells, but if we get like a 100% top of the range one, I could probably like be in a carriage. We're not even going to be moving most of the day. I just want to learn it. There's a few spells I want to learn before we fight Scoria. That,
While you're on the road.
well, if we're going to go soon, I think that that's the only way to do it.
Yeah, I think if you wait, are you talking about memorizing spells or researching spells?
No, I'm talking about learning spell, like learning new spells.
Researching.
Researching.
Okay,
Not researching.
but just learning them from a book.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, like, I imagine, we're with an army. It's not going to be in super quick. It's not like we're traveling down a rocky road. We're going to be only slowly stopping for long periods of time. I just want to be able to study for 8 hours.
And he can have his own carriage. That if you want, I can cast like silence or something on the outside. That won't help too much, but
If you have a dedicated space, I think you can probably learn spells from a book. I imagine you will have to pull over on the side of the road from time to time. You might need to like practice certain gestures that you would need to be standing up for.
Yeah.
But I think you could probably, if you're not in any pressure situation, if you don't need to be like racing down the road for some reason or another, if you've got time on your side and you have a nice fancy dedicated carriage for this task, then yes, I think you can learn on the road. Not research, though, not derive new spells, but learn from other books.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. Okay, cool. Great.
Yeah,
What I'm going to do for the next
unless
few
they're
days
like
is then...
just minor detail, if you've got like wildly exotic spell components, they might need to be procured ahead of time, right? Like if you're picking up a book and you're like, the spell components for this are like 10,000 GP gems, and you don't have them, I think that spell you might need to wait until you're somewhere.
That does actually remind me. I was trying to acquire black pearls to be able to cast the death spell, which I couldn't get hold of, so I never actually learned. But I don't know if that's come in now.
Yes, you
Okay,
can get
cool.
those now, no problem.
All right. So I think I've got 4 spells I'm going to learn. I'll make sure I
Great.
can get the components beforehand.
Yeah, as long as
the finest carriage made.
finest carriage made.
Brought.
Absolutely.
We have that one carriage with the secret compartment. Remember, be careful, because I think it'll blind you if you try to open it.
Anton needs to make some potions or oils of slipperiness. How long is that going to take, Quibo? I've done it before, and I have the material components in like the house or something. It was a I don't remember. It was like the part of a fucking elven cat that we hunt down and killed.
Yeah, cost and time. 1 day per 100 GP equivalent of the item.
Oh, are we just infinitely rich now too?
I mean,
Well, you're not truly infinitely rich, but I think all of your expenses are well within the finances that you've already acquired, and so it's probably not worth looking at the money. But
what
if you
happened to
wanted
all the
like-
gold taken out of the Green Dragon pit?
Well, that's all gone to the crown.
Untold wealth and riches. I hope
We'll
that's
talk-
I hope
we'll
that's
talk to the king
credited to
about
the
it.
McGarry account at least. But I want to be if we're not the goddamn king and queen, we better be the fucking
I want
Lannisters
to be the
at least.
richest.
Well, you do have a full set of mithril plate mail, and you have a mithril Volkov. So those alone make you the richest anything ever,
That's fine.
I think.
We need to buy some meta stock, boys. With all this money we got, it's on big discount.
Going
right now.
up. It's gonna go big.
It's gonna go up. It's going back up. People are sleeping on meta, and it's going up.
Are you? How big's your position?
How fucked is my position?
No, how big is it? Just which one are you?
Maybe 80 something, with a number back there. The more important
sure
number
it's
is
I'm
50.
sure-
50, which is the percentage the stock has gone down. But don't worry, it's coming back. Okay.
I'm sure it's part of a well-diversified portfolio, Stevenson.
It is, of course. Yeah. I'm still here, aren't I?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah, I think it'll take you 4 days to make each one.
Cool. I'll spend 8 days, and I'll make 2. That's about the time that Americ's gonna be gone doing fucking teleporter rings, right?
Yeah, well, I probably want to do any major city that still has people living in it. I want to put.
How long is it gonna take you?
Each
Well,
one will
let's-
probably take a day. I think.
Take a look at the map. Let's see. We've got Fanden, Wicthron Marenta, Grumpburn, Bontheris is still sort of standing. Thickle Glades, Solwick,
So, yeah,
Bondundasir. Ooh, that
Berkshire.
didn't work. Yeah.
yeah. So I think
6.
those. So I think there's.
Okay.
Yes.
Is
and
Outlast is still kind of there, right?
Yeah,
Outlast
that's
as well. Yeah. So we'll
1,
do
2,
9.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Do we own Pike's Point?
Yeah,
no, that's
so-
a Kuban territory.
Are
Our-
the Riverlands?
Is our keep like melted?
Yeah, is our keep good?
I think it got destroyed, didn't it?
Your keep was burned, not melted by dragonfire, but it was assaulted by ground forces, and everyone was either driven out, killed, or had to retreat in some way, shape,
No
or form. And it stands
way that
abandoned.
our giants didn't defend that.
With our
I'm
50
sure your
million
giants did defend it.
Glacia
but, like,
+2 weapons and +2 bows and plus all of that, they better put up a fucking good fight. They better all be alive.
better-
Or
yeah.
did the whole Glacia armor set get captured? What's the status on that? Think carefully before you answer that, because I know you don't want to make a bad ruling that you'll have to stick to. Because we did leave them with a whole lot of shit. They must have been sparkling with shit.
We can talk about it. Is there anything else that we should talk about instead? Or we can delve into the fate of your keep and the people who were there.
Well, we can do that.
Emmerich will
I
put
do
a
have
place
some
up
other
here
stuff.
probably then, right? If it
Yeah,
is
okay, I'll
it
do-
still
I
there?
can do
Yeah.
10. So let me just talk through the process of this, Neil,
Yep.
to confirm that it takes 1 day. Okay, so I can teleport there. I cast Fabricate to make a teleport stand, and then I'll speak to the guards and say, this thing has to be kept in order. No one is to, enter beyond this square. Make sure it still stands. Basically, just look after it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it's just a teleport and a Fabricate, and then a second teleport to get back. And then I have to. Spend
Don't you need
the
Mr.
day-
Mutin going with you in order to cast all these spells to help you get your guaranteed teleport to these places?
I guess he has to do the divination on the way there, but on the way back, I just come home, so
Right.
I'm okay. And then I'll
So that means you're
from there.
memorizing 1 Fabricate and 2 teleports per day?
Yeah, that's fine. And then I obviously have to spend the whole day studying the thing.
Right, and
Sure, I
you
can
also
teleport to it.
need assembled materials, right? Because you make it out of whatever's around.
Yeah.
So you would
Yeah,
have
I
to
need
then...
wood.
Yeah,
stone,
so it might take
whatever.
more than 1 day because you'll need people to haul in wood or stone
And that's
to
totally fine.
wherever it is you want it to be made.
Probably depends on the town. I mean, most of these towns have got to have logging operations going on. They're all in the middle of a giant forest, so
Certainly,
Imagine there's
yes.
wood.
There's
Maybe-
going to be
maybe not
wood
in the big
available
lots.
to you. Yeah.
yeah. Okay, well maybe
Can't you
it's
just
maybe
pull
it
the
takes
shit from
a bit longer.
the? Can't you just pull shit from like the road?
It would be a dirt building then.
I mean, isn't the town destroyed? Isn't there just like splintered wood everywhere?
It depends on the town.
Well, you're going to the non-destroyed towns, right?
Yeah, it's fine. If it takes 2 days, it takes 2 days. That's fine.
I think
The other thing
it'll
wanted to
take at
check
least
in-
2 days. At least
The
2
other thing I wanted
days,
to
yeah.
check in. Shine has enchant item. Can she recharge my staff of thunder and lightning?
To recharge items, you need enchant an item and then to cast the requisite spells at them. But I think that's all that it takes, right?
So would I've got lightning bolt.
That
Maybe would I need
sounds-
thunderclap as well, or thunder staff?
The item description does not specify the level required to recharge it. It can be recharged by any character who can create an item, i.e. an 11th level priest or wizard with the ability to cast enchant an item. As long as the
Tradition-
character can also cast the highest level spell simulated or cast by the item. For example, the highest level spell incorporated in a wand of fire is a wall of fire, or 4th level wizard spell. It can be cast by a wizard of 7th level or higher. Therefore, if the wizard knows wall of fire, it's the requirement to enchant an item that is the pressing issue in this
So
case.
I'd need thunder staff then, wouldn't I? Because that's level 4, isn't it?
Is that the spell that
Well, it
your
does-
staff
it
of
does-
thunder and lightning?
It does thunder staff and it does lightning.
Yeah. So if Thunderstaff is the higher level spell, so you would need that then.
Can Arc Sombar cast that by any chance?
No, I don't think so. I can
Arc
double
Sombar's a
check, but
loser.
True.
she
so I
is
need
not
to
a
learn
combat
Thunderstaff
wizard.
first.
She is a servant wizard.
That's what Nilrum's
She's-
making.
But if I've got, if I learn Thunderstaff, I can probably recharge the item in a couple of days then. Because I can cast Thunderstaff like, you know, like 20 times a day if I want to.
The character can use the appropriate spells. An item can be recharged by simply casting enchant an item and then making a saving throw versus spell to see if the spell takes. If enchanted item succeeds, the character may then cast the appropriate spells into the item, taking 1d4 hours per spell. If the preparatory spell fails, then the caster must make another saving throw versus spell with a -1 penalty. Failing this save results in the item's ruin. It will never be usable again. But that
Shit.
requires the item to fail a saving throw, and then the caster of enchanted item to fail a saving throw.
Yeah, okay. That's not going to happen. Very easily, at least.
7-2.
Yeah,
Assuming
no,
the-
clearly
Shut the fuck
could
up.
happen. But if the thing hasn't, if it hasn't got any charges, it's useless anyway. So.
Assuming the
what's
character
right.
doesn't spoil the item by attempting to recharge it, he may then begin to place spells of the appropriate type into the item. As long as the next spell begins within 24 hours of finishing the last one, he can pour charge into the item without stopping to use enchanted item again. Success is automatic, and the character can place as many or as few additional charges as he likes. However, he may never overcharge the item by placing more charges into it than it could have had at its maximum. For example, Ring of the Ran can hold as many as 10 charges at one time, and it can't be charged past that limit. So as long as... Yeah, I think Shine can cast enchant an item, and then you can cast Thunderstaff into it, and that should be fine. I think the two of you can work together on that. So Shine would need to pass a saving throw for enchant an item. I'm sorry, the Rod would need to pass a saving throw. Someone needs to pass a saving throw, and then you need to pass... the item passes a save, and then the caster passes a save. If that
I'll
first
probably
one
fail to
fails.
learn the spell, so it probably won't matter.
That's true.
Yeah.
You can do it, Nick.
Also, I'm going to take a non-weapon proficiency. I've got a few saved up, Neil. I would like to take Riding Airborne.
As long as you have a creature that is willing to practice with you, it can be done. You'll need to ask your king if you can ride his dragon.
Yeah, I would drag.
About a no man.
Well, no, I mean, I'm going to hopefully learn Phantom Steed, and then I'll have my own flying steed.
Okay.
Practice on. Yeah.
Well,
Is it? Can
If
I ask
you're
questions
Anton-
now?
Say again?
I said, can I ask questions now?
Yeah.
are you still wanting to talk with the queen and everyone?
No,
Or
no,
are
fuck
we-
that. I don't need her. First question is, I have time to myself now. I'm a fucking big-ass rogue. Can I analyze the dagger and figure out how much poison it can hold at one particular point in time? I should be able to know that, right?
Absolutely, yeah. You can take your time and inspect the dagger. Let's get something in the background.
I'm here. I'm just changing on the screen.
Cool. Yes, you can inspect the dagger. It can hold up to 10 doses of poison at one time. You're going to want to make sure it's just one type of poison in there. You wouldn't want to mix two poisons. You might get like half of each in an injection. There's a little slot that you can drop the poison down in, and then there's like a little thing that stops it in place.
Okay, yeah,
The
that
dagger
sounds-
takes care of the rest. Was there a second part to that question?
Yeah, so that's how much. Can I make more poison to carry with me to like reload this, or what are my options? Or do we want to do that off stream?
You can find poison. You don't generally make it. You have deep connections to the thieves' guilds, to the families, and now that you're king of Mystria, all of them rogues who might have had a problem with you are suddenly going to want to be the person that can help you achieve your ends.
Duh.
So I think you'll have access to poison fairly easily here. I don't think we even need to make any dice rolls. I think you can just call on your sources, and within a few days or weeks, they will find a way to get you the poisons that you want at no cost to yourself. I'm going to link you the poison table and let you just pick whatever you want off it.
Can I swap these out at any point in time, given enough time? Like if I've got like 8 charges in one, can I put that back in and do whatever, or?
Yeah,
Actually-
you want to like be able to remove
No,
your
that's
doses from the
actually-
dagger.
That's
and-
okay, don't cry. Can I do anything here? Does it have to be contact, injected, ingested? Does it have to be like injected or what?
Right. So an injected, you can do contact or injected in
Okay.
this dagger, and they will work equally the same. If you put an ingested poison into the dagger, it has half strength, and they get huge bonuses on their saves, I believe.
What is death what is like the /25 mean? That's 25 damage.
Pass
So-
the save, you take 25 damage.
Got it.
Right. Now, some of these are going to have more limited supplies. For example, Poison N, which you're talking about there, the contact poison that takes 1 minute, and if you fail your save, you die, and if you pass, you take 25 damage. That poison is going to be in very rare supply. That comes from like far away creatures, and you might be able to get like 2 or 3 doses of Type N.
And
Type
2 or 3
F-
doses is like, that's each dose is 10 loads in the dagger, or?
No. Your dagger can contain 10 doses. So
okay.
Type N, you could probably get 2 to 3 of if you requested it.
Gotcha.
But like Type E, I think that's the wyvern poison, you could easily get 20 doses of.
We have some wyvern venom sacks, so we should definitely be able to get that.
Okay.
We slaughtered them all on Gnome, if you remember.
Based.
And that's the same poison that the rogue had, death and 20.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. That was one question. Other question. We leveled up our fighters. I didn't take another proficiency. Can I take a dagger proficiency?
Yeah.
Cool. How many
How do you not
attacks?
have dagger proficiency already?
Well, because why the fuck are we ever gonna use daggers?
'Cause you're a rogue?
How many attacks
Can
do we
I,
get? Or go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna ask, am I able to spend some time, like say we have downtime for 3 months, can I get sword expertise? Can I spend a lot of time just training with a sword?
You can pick up.
I already have sword proficiency.
I think
Right,
can
but you
only
have
one
spear
expertise.
expertise, right?
Yeah, I do have a spear expertise, yeah.
I don't.
I didn't
think
know if you can get 2 or anything.
No, I think you're limited to 1 expertise.
It wouldn't do anything for you
character.
anyway, because it's in your offhand.
About the role playing, Nick.
Oh no, sure. I mean,
I would
practice
get rid
with
of
the sword.
I would get rid of the expertise. I would stop using the spear expertise for main hand, and I'd swap a sword.
Oh.
there.
Oh, yeah, that probably would be.
The best would be spear and offhand, sword and main hand.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe if he abandoned his spear expertise, Neil.
No, because you can't abandon your expertise. You are an expert spear fighter. Expertise, specialization, like spells learned by wizards can't be unlearned and can't be replaced.
Yeah.
Can you be expertise in multiple things? Is that what we're looking up?
That's what I'm looking up, but
See if I can look.
No, it's essentially just a more limited version of specialization. And specialization, you can only choose for 1 item, and it can never. Actually, I think with specialization, you can use a.
The character point cost is reduced by 1 if the character elects to gain an expertise with his weapon of choice.
No, here it is. This is the line we're looking for. If she wishes to change her specialization to a different weapon, she must expend 2 extra proficiency slots to become a specialist in the new weapon and loses all benefits of specializing in the previous one, although she will still be proficient with it and always will be. Any more changes cost 3 slots each, so it's a good idea to pick 1 weapon and stick with it. So if you have 2 free slots, you can change your
don't.
expertise from spear to sword.
I don't. This would be me gaining slots through long amounts of game time to learn it. Like Tyrael gained a slot to fly on the dragon.
Right. If
I don't
we
know
have a
you're
lot
cool
of
with it. It is-
time,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, if there's like a year of downtime or something, I think that's fine. So that'll really depend on the how things play out from here.
Okay. Anton spends his time for the 2 weeks that Imric's gone making potions.
Okay. I'm just gonna make a list of some of these poisons that you can get, so there's no questions about it. Wyvern poison is type E or type F?
I have no idea.
Why? Not sure. I can look it up though.
I think we
let's
said
do-
type J.
I'll check, Neil. You, all the things. Type F.
Type F is Wyvern? Okay. So you can easily get 20 of those.
I'm not sure why you get type E poison. Some sort of spider. Like an Etika.
You killed 2 wyverns and brought back their
No,
sacks,
we
yeah?
killed like 6, I think.
We killed
There was a load of them.
Okay. And did you successfully recover all of their poison glands?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not Etika. What else has got crazy poison now?
I don't know. What are you looking at?
That is-
For which poison? Type J?
I'm looking for E.
E. Oh, what does poison death or take 20?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's got to be a snake or a spider, right?
Oh, a snake maybe. Yeah, I'll check snakes.
Do we need Anton for anything else this session? Because I have to dip at some point, but you guys could stay and figure this out.
I don't know if there's anything left to figure. It seems like it's all like logistics that could be done like between episodes, but yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind rolling a few spell learning checks.
Mhm.
Yeah, let's do some spell
that.
learning checks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna start with Phantom Steed.
What are you going?
+1. I have +1 in now, Neil. In
Extra
case you didn't
5%?
know. Let me just check. It's an extra 5. We're looking at a 65% chance now.
But no one gets.
So a 1 to 65?
I need to ask my advisor. Tyrael, what do you think, Stephen?
What you're rolling for?
Learn his spell. Oh, you want to know what the spell? Phantom Steed.
Go to 1580. That's a good range.
Wait. Yeah, that's good, because I was thinking we rolled low, and I don't think we listen to me anymore on rolls.
15 to 80?
1580 is going to get you 100%, okay?
It's 1579, is it actually?
Okay, go.
Okay, instead, I guess I'll do Bloodstone's Spectral Steed as an alternative. I'm gonna go for the same
Wait,
area there.
do 20. Go up to 20. Let's get a little higher.
20 to 84.
20 to 84, yeah.
Okay. This is better. It's actually better. Phantom Steed is a level 3 spell, so it's easy to cast, but
Okay.
this, let me just read the description. of
Better
this, 'cause
copium.
It's pretty fucking cool. Bloodstone's Spectral Steed. The spell allows a wizard to create a quasi-real vulture-like creature. The flying steed can carry the caster and one other person for every 3 levels. All passengers must specifically be named during the casting. The Spectral Steed looks like a huge skeletal vulture with tattered wings. As it flies, it utters hideous screeches that echo through the sky. The Spectral Steed flies at a movement rate of 4 per caster level to a maximum of 48. It appears with a bit and bridle plus 1 saddle per passenger. And the material component is a hollow bone made from a vulture's wing, which must be carved into a whistle and blown when the spell is cast. So we can all fly around on this giant evil vulture thing, although it might be a bad look for you two.
Based.
You guys can fly on your shiny gold dragon, I'll fly on my evil vulture. But I want
Well, hold on.
riding airborne, because I'm pretty certain now that I can, if Scoria is caught in the open, that I can just chase her down with my bow. And if I've got the right buffs, I don't think she can kill me.
Will Corbett let you shoot from the back of a flying animal?
That is what the proficiency is for. Yes.
Of riding flying animal?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Corbett?
you're saying that on your I wasn't paying super attention because I was looking at poison stuff. You've got mount.
No, I've got Bloodstone's Spectral Steed.
Okay, I'm not familiar with this one. Quasi-real vulture-like creature. Steed can carry the caster and one other person per 3 levels. All passengers must be specifically named during the casting. looks like a huge skeletal vulture with tattered wings. As it flies, it utters hideous screeches that echo through the sky. Spectral Steed flies at a movement rate of 4 per caster level to a maximum movement rate of 48. All normal animals shun the Spectral Steed. Only monsters will attack it. 18 AC, 10 hit points, plus 1 HP per level of the caster. Loses all of its hit points. It disappears, has no attack mode. All right, and so you want to be able to ride the Spectral Steed with your type, your flying thingy-majobber.
And be able to shoot my bow on the back
Be
of
able
it,
to shoot your bow.
which I think is legit.
You have a missile weapon fighting style, don't you?
I do, yeah.
That is absolutely used for mounted riders. I think there are rules in mounted combat stuff about penalties. Okay, here we go. Horse archers. That's a separate weapon proficiency style as horse archery instead of move and scoot, shoot and scoot. Because that is.
I'm pretty sure that I read the riding airborne and the riding land-based, and it talks about being able to. One of the things you can do is fire a missile weapon. Back of it.
Normally, a character suffers a -2 penalty to missile attacks if his mount is moving up to half its normal speed, and a -4 if the mount is moving at full speed. Yeah, so if your mount is moving at half speed, -2. If it's moving at full speed, -4 to hit.
You know, if you look at riding land-based, the character can guide his mount with his knees, enabling him to use weapons that require 2 hands, such as bows and 2-handed swords, while mounted. This feat does not require a proficiency check unless the character takes damage while riding. In this case, a check is required, and failure means they fall to the ground. And then if you look at airborne, it says basically it works in the same way, but as it does with the land-based.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you can ride and you can shoot from your thing, unless the DMG has a specific rule on this. But I think the DMG ruling on mounted riders is penalty to hit if the mount is moving. I will double check the exact rules because we're going to want to know these things ahead of time, aren't we?
I can technically animal friendship to Phoenix now.
Yeah, man. No, a griffin, you mean? Or sorry,
No, a phoenix.
A rock.
A rock and a phoenix. Phoenix has 20 hit dice. Well, that's not going to happen. Yeah,
It's not even exist in Phoenix.
There are none in
the
Arcadia.
monster manual. Not in Arcadia. But I can definitely do a rock, which I might actually do.
Yeah, fuck it. I mean, why
If we have
not?
downtime, I mean, fuck it, why not?
Damn, a phoenix would be so cool.
A phoenix would be sick, wouldn't it?
Holy shit, have you seen the amount of spells this thing's can
Yeah,
cast?
it's got a fuckload of shit.
What the fuck?
It just wouldn't fail its save. That's the problem.
For
Animal
missile
fighters.
fire on aerially mounted things is also those mounted on a flying creature or magical device suffer all the penalties for mounted bow fire. Hovering is the same as standing still and incurs no penalty. Characters using missile fire while levitating suffer a -1 cumulative penalty for each round of fire. But
I'm
if
not
we're just
levitating,
doing you're just on mounted horseback. So missile fire from the back of a horse is possible only if the rider is proficient in horsemanship. Even then, only short bows, composite short bows, or light crossbows can be fired from horseback by normally proficient characters. Long bows can be used by those with specialization if that is used. Heavy crossbows can be fired once but cannot be reloaded.
Come on, I'm
And
a level
then-
14 fighter. Let me use my longbow. Like, I haven't got
Are you
specialized
specialized in longbow?
I've got expertise. I've got bow fighting style. I've got riding airborne. Well,
Short bows only
I don't want
from
to
horseback.
Fuck that.
Okay.
No, fine. I'll still take it. But that sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have any magic short bows?
Short bows? I don't believe so.
I'm sure we do, somewhere.
Really? I don't think we've ever had magic short bows, but I could be wrong. Unless we got some in Glacia.
We got a shitload of shit in Glacier, I thought.
Someone in chat will know.
No, longbow's generally the preferred weapon for most people, unless you're like a step rider or a hunter who needs to be able to,
Let me just check
Have
the
a
braces
shorter
of
weapon.
archery.
I'm gonna dip out 10 minutes early. I got like a thing, and like the person just fucking arrived, I guess, early. So
Be
that's
careful,
okay.
babe. I love you.
You guys can
Ciao.
do your thing. Bye bye. See you. Sorry.
Tyrael, I'm gonna roll you. You can roll me a 5d6, please, Tyrael.
For what?
Number of type A doses of type A poison you have.
Okay.
right, and a 46 for type B. And a 3d6 for type C.
Are you keeping track of these, or should I?
I am keeping track of them. 2d6 for type D.
Where are you keeping track of them at?
I'll post it momentarily.
Okay.
4d6 for type E. You already have a bunch of type F. Type G is going to be 4d10. Oof. Type H is 4d10. Type I is 4d6. J is 3d6. K, L, M, N. Each of them are going to be d6 minus 2. These are exotic poisons. These are the contact ones. So d6 minus 2 for K.
How do I roll?
Try that again.
Can I roll all 4 of them? Is it possible, or?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
They've got to be done one at a time.
46 minus 2. I don't think I'm doing that right.
No. 1d6 minus 2. Not 46 minus 2.
How do I do the minus?
There you
Oh, there you go. 1,
Yeah, that's it. 1. Do it again.
2.
Next one. Next one. All right. Type O, you're going to have 5d6 of.
Jesus.
And type P is also 5d6. There you go.
Okay.
Can you check the Encyclopedia Magica for the bow of speed? I think it might be a short bow. I'd look myself, but I don't have that book.
Mm-hmm. One of them rare books.
It's a rare one. Even the PDFs you can like download online aren't complete. It's truly like secret knowledge.
Nope, the type is not inherently listed in these things, but I think we've been using longbow ranges the whole time.
Uh-oh.
Somebody said that when you
So-
described it, it was a short bow. That's what it is on the wiki. But
Is it?
you know, it's just the wiki. It could be wrong. I don't think the range has ever mattered, to be honest.
It's never mattered. I might have called it a short bow speed.
I'll try and find it in the VODs in
Okay.
between sessions if you want.
Yeah,
I'm sure
but
somebody's looking
if it's a
online now.
short bow, you can absolutely use it. Otherwise, nada.
Okay, cool. I got some more spells to learn, but this has taken some time already.
Well, I think we're more or less gonna wrap us up here. So why don't you
Roll my
show
other
us
spells
what?
I want to try.
Yeah, roll what other spells you want.
Okay, I've got Cone of Cold, Improved Blink, and Thunder Stuff. So I'm gonna
Actually,
go
hold
Cone
on.
of-
There are events that will happen. You don't have infinite time. How many spells did you already roll for right now?
2.
Okay. And did you learn these spells after setting up these teleportations or before?
I think after.
Okay. And so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You wanted to do Outlast is 8. The River Lens is 9. You already have one in Wicthron Renta in your house, right? So you don't need another one.
Yeah.
So 2 days at least. You'll want to study them carefully, but you did fabricate them. So let's say 2 days per place. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
16.
8, 9. That's 18 days.
And then this is for the spells that I've tried to learn. 14. So we're on about a month.
Okay. These are the ones that you've already tried to learn.
Yeah.
We should stop here then, yeah. Because this is 32 days, and I think some events will be coming into play
Uh-oh.
right around here. Tyrael, was there anything else you wanted to do in the first month after the fall of Crownhold?
Let's see. I've got my dagger poisons. I did my dagger proficiency. I might think of something between episodes, but otherwise I'm not sure. I don't
Okay.
think there's anything in particular, unless it's like logistics stuff between this and Mistria.
Nope. Then why don't we call our session? here for today. And when we come back with our next session, we will see how events unfold. Because Scoria is no longer content to wait for you.
Sounds good.
Oh, shit.
Bitch.
Okay.
I've got 4 questions for us, okay?
Yep.
Question to be asked after Gilder is captured and are killed. For Koibu, how did King Gilder convince Scoria to join the war?
I don't think there are any ramifications for me spilling this right now. Is there? Well, I don't know what sort of ploys you might use for Scoria's subterfuge. Since we're only like 3 sessions away from the end of the campaign, can we circle back to this one at the very end?
You do whatever you want, Koibu.
Thank you, baby.
For Koibu, given the good nature of metallic dragons and their willingness to team up together, is the dragon plane... Wait, am I crazy? Did we already do this?
We did read this.
Is the dragon plane ruled mainly by good dragons rather than chromatic dragons who are too egotistical to work well together? I think we already did this one.
Yeah, the dragons don't quite have like the same I rule and I have a kingdom and blah 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 blah. Like that concept of ruling areas doesn't quite apply. It's more of like territorial overlap. So I would think of dragons like tigers in the jungle. You know.
Okay.
They have territories. Sometimes they overlap. Sometimes they work together. Sometimes they don't work together. But like, it's not quite the same dynamic.
Okay, gotcha. For Koibu, does any dragon actually revere the gods at all? And is there just a small minority of like 5% of dragons who actually care about the pantheon?
Well, you know, the dragons totally revere the gods. But it's in more of your... Oh, I wish I studied more of philosophy. What was the dude who said that you shouldn't... No. Dude, the dragons are aware that the gods made them, and the gods are perfect, extra-dimensional, crazy, you know,
Okay.
beings. But, like, you know, dragons don't necessarily have use for them.
Gotcha.
Sometimes they might get some spells from their deities, but also, like, you're a fucking dragon. You're the king of everything. You can do whatever you want. You're all powerful. You fly. You got dangerous breath weapons. Like, the gods made you perfect, and so you don't really need them. That doesn't mean you abhor them or you know, go away from them. You might have the rare dragon who who really, you know, wants to impress the deities or wants to serve them in some way, shape, or form. But generally, you know, I want you to think of the dragon-god relationship like the relationship between American citizens and their government in the early 1960s, before the Vietnam War really got going on, where the people were kind of like, yo, government, you've done some great stuff. But at the same time, like, come on now.
Okay. Final question. Is Tyrion a virgin outside of the times he's been with my mom? Any secret kids? Because we know Emmerich must have a few. I don't think Tyrion's out banging chicks a lot. I don't think so. No time for that. Doing roguish things.
Maybe Emmerich has some bastards out there, but he probably doesn't care to know about it, I guess.
Yeah, probably not.
They wouldn't want to be associated with you anyway.
Now?
Well, at least not before. Maybe now.
Yeah, exactly.
But they wouldn't have wanted to be associated with you beforehand. So any claims right now should be met with the utmost of skepticism.
Exactly that, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Emmerich, remember me?
No. Lightning bolt.
But Emmerich, it's your son. He's got...
I'm getting vaporized.
Jesus.
He's got your eyes.
I ride a skeletal vulture now that screeches, and I smell of demons and death.
Okay.
I'm not the Emmerich I was before.
Yeah. Do you have any regrets about any of that?
Nah.
Yes.
Really?
But who has time for regrets with everything that's happening? At least
Well
Anton's
said.
back, you know.
Well said.
Okay. Well, we should be back next week, normal time. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And then I'll be back in like 20 minutes. I'm gonna shower stuff, and then I'll be back streaming, guys. And then we chat with people. Yeah. All right. Have fun. Ripperino duders.
See you later.
Bye.
Ciao.
Thank